He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome everybody back to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show, money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment. And let me ask you guys something. Do you feel like you have power? Do you have control of the situation? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about that movie. This is not about The Dark Knight Rises. This is about something completely different. So let me bring my guests on before we get started. And we are, me and Mr. Glare, are talking about the greatest movie ever created. Batman and Robin.
It must be opposite day. Because I was just telling you, it's so funny. I feel exactly the opposite about that movie. I literally think it's the movie that I hate most. The exact opposite of my favorite film. And I've never even thought about that before. I always try to pinpoint which one's my favorite movie of all time. This is easily the movie that I hate the most of all time.
So before we get started in this review and we go down into the rabbit hole, and this movie is so bad that I've been trying to convince Bitchy. She still hasn't watched it. That's why she's not on here tonight. And, she had some family things. So I got Mr. Glare because we were chatting and I found out that you, like myself, are a Batman fan. So let me ask you, before we get started into this, how did you get into, Batman, and what attracted you to that sort of DC character?
I've always liked my superheroes. Like as a little kid, I loved the Batman television show, which I think, it is the one thing I'll defend about this movie is what they were trying to do was to make a modern take on the 1966 television adaptation with Adam West and Burt Ward. And I thought that, the problem with that is they took the franchise to that hard left turn from the Tim Burton Batman, which was meant to be dark, which the whole thing with Batman when I was a kid, I loved that. I loved the campiness of it. I liked them when they were on Scooby-Doo, all that stuff, right? But then I got a little older. I have cousins and they're big comic book collectors. So whenever we'd go visit them for holidays, I'd be digging into their comics and reading their comics. And Batman graphic novels just became my favorite thing to read. This goes against every Batman comic book ever. This is a complete abomination of these characters. But I
would, just so you guys know, when I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this review, the Glare DM'd me and he's like, I have got to talk about this movie because this is like a traumatic experience in my life. This is like you're gonna be like exercising the demons tonight talking about this film because it's one of those mystifying things where, look, if you guys haven't followed Joel Schumacher's work, he's not a bad director.
Dude, Falling Down is awesome.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite movies. He has this way of directing and this way of storytelling that could be good for those kinds of movies, but for a franchise like this, for what they were coming off of. And we talked a little bit about Batman Forever. Like you said, there was a bit of a shift there, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, that movie still kept the Burton-esque feel. Val Kilmer to me wasn't a bad choice.
A little bit, yeah. It was definitely an easier transition, but it was just like, I don't know. This movie, it's like Schumacher just stripped naked completely here. And, I mean, there was the thing about my theory on Batman Forever is probably Jim Carrey and the Riddler story and the way that he portrayed that character it just carried the movie. Val Kilmer was a weak Bruce Wayne at best. Okay, Batman, I guess, but the Jim Carrey, just the way that he improvised and his body movements and everything, he was absolutely animated in that movie. And so I think that just dazzled us enough to not hate it. You know what I mean?
Not to mention too, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Like seeing
he wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad. I mean, new Two-Face played by Eckhart. That's like untouched. Well, anything from this new Dark Knight is untouchable.
The whole point behind Harvey Dent is that he was extremely strikingly good looking. Tommy Lee Jones is not. Now he's a rugged,
he made a hell of a Two-Face.
He's rugged in his own way. A lot of women find this. But as far as like what Harvey Dent is supposed to be, which is definitely more Aaron Eckhart. I'm going to go ahead and say that Tommy Lee Jones was poorly cast for that role, but he did a good job with what he was given. You know what I mean? He's not a Batman fan. He never followed Two-Face. They were supposed to be this campy, cartoony type take on these characters, and he did a good job. It's not his fault that Two-Face was made out to be what he was in that movie.
And before we go on, I just wanted to give a shout out to someone who is a fan of the channel. Thank you. They did a very awesome thing for me today. And shout out to you, Robert. They are the first ones to find out that I have a Patreon, and because of what they did for me, they're going to be my first member of this Patreon, and I just wanted to say thank you to them because I told them, and I know they're watching the stream, that I would give them a shout out. But thank you very much. And I wanted to highlight them because it was really like a lot about this community. Now that we got 20 people coming in, these guys are so great. They've been so helpful, and no sad stuff tonight, but when that thing happened with my uncle, the amount of support I've gotten from everybody in this community, I really wanted to just stop and thank them again, even though I feel like you could never thank people enough. Like, given what we dealt with the truthy thing, I feel like, people who follow me and watch me should always know my appreciation, and that I hope they feel I will give them the best content and the best version of myself that I can, out of respect for everything they've done. Like, everybody thinks you need monetary support, but you guys coming out and just like DMing me or going on my threads and giving us those posts, you guys have no clue. Like, I can't ever put into words how much you helped me stay focused, and you too, Glare, and all the content creators too. When you guys came out and said those nice things, words mean a lot, and we're seeing that with what happens with people, especially today. They can either break someone down or they can lift them up. Every one of you guys have done an amazing job lifting not only me up, but my father as well. And for that, we will be eternally grateful. And before we dive deep into this, I wanted to get that emotional crap out of the way, because this is going to be a funny stream. But I needed to say that, because without you guys, me and Guerra wouldn't have even probably met or had this stream and found out we were Batman friends. Yeah, friends, Batman friends forever. No, Batman fans. So thank you guys. you guys make this happen, and I appreciate everything that you do. So yeah, getting back to it with this Joel Schumacher version, it was everything that you could possibly. And here's the thing, and I think we can agree on this, Mr. Glare. One of the biggest things you can see that actively destroys this, or one of them, just one of them, the biggest things to me is the corporatism of it. I don't know if that's a word.
He had a bad credit card.
No, Batman credit. What the fuck?
He had a bad credit card.
He pulled that
real.
out.
That happened.
It was a real credit card too. That was the thing. I remember them selling that. Like, this is marketing at its worst, man. This is. Oh, I don't even know.
From the first line where he says, "I want a car," chicks take the car, and he even sounded like an idiot when he said it. Right? It's the very first line in the movie, and then he's like, "This is why Superman works alone." And then I wanted to throw stuff at the screen right then and there. I was so mad. I was like, I knew it was going to be bad. I just didn't know it was going to be like, wow, are you trying to be bad? Are you like, this is crazy that a huge movie studio got behind this. I couldn't, but I think the biggest problem is the huge movie studio just had no idea what Batman fans wanted. They didn't care. They just thought, okay, well, we'll just make a 60s version, a modern version of the 60s TV show, and it'll just be fun for the kids. Like, no, man. Like, there are us fucking old ass men that have loved Batman our whole lives, and we want to see this character because it's not hard to do. That's the thing. Is there's Batman doesn't have any superpowers. You know what I'm saying? You can make a very subtle just story. I've read so many graphic novels where he's hardly doing any fighting or anything. I mean, I'm not saying to make a movie like that, but to definitely focus on the detective work, and how how self-disciplined he is, and the psychology. Because the truth is Batman. This is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Batman and the Joker. The reason why they're such mortal enemies is because they're equally psychotic. One is just homicidal, but they're equally psychotic, both of them. Batman is completely
there's been strong implications in the story that Batman's pathology is borderline narcissistic personality, the way he controls things. I mean, that was what, and people super secretly know that, but that is what's always attracted people to the dynamic of Batman and Joker, is this back and forth. And Joker's not physically powerful, and people think he's not even really smart, but he's brilliant. Like, when you think about his plans and what he does,
right?
He's a brilliant foil to the Batman.
And he loves the game between the two of them. To him, it's a game. It's an outwitting. How can I outwit the Batman? And I'm going to do horrible shit just to get under his skin. That's completely insane. But yes, in order to keep up with Batman or to do this, he has to be almost, if not equally as smart. So I totally agree with you.
That girl is lurking. Yeah. Hi, that girl. I know you're coming over here from Mr. Glaire's channel. So I appreciate it. Hey, you know what? I'll just throw a mod for you because you seem to do a good job over there. So there you go. If ever you're back over here, there you go.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
oh my goodness, no! Come on. Uh-oh. Oh no. All right. I don't know if you're. Oh, I think I lost. Okay, so while we're still going, I think my compatriot here is frozen. But yes, this movie is some of the worst acting, performing, just all around portrayal of the characters. And now, here's the thing about this. Here's the thing that really. Oh yeah, I know. We put them on ice. Okay, so the very first thing that sets you up for failure. So when we open up with this movie, the very first thing that really gets my goat about this movie is how the immediate shots for this movie, the first shots of this movie is they shoot Batman suiting up. Now, Batman suiting up was absolutely positively atrocious. They do this montage of them suiting up, and they focus on, and I don't know how else to say this. I have no clue how to say this conservatively, but they focus on Batman's crotch and butt as they're like, Joel, what? Why does this shot exist in this movie? Why are we focusing on the bat goods? I have no clue. I have no clue. They shoot a shot of his groin and then buttocks, and it's a long shot. Like, this is a good 5-minute shot, and I have no clue. For the life of me, I have no clue why in the world this shot is in the movie. It absolutely baffles my mind. What's up, Jamie Vick? We are talking about the worst Batman movie ever created, Batman and Robin. I guess suit up would be a great pun. This is a terrible, terrible establishing shot, they call this. Okay, so here's the thing. If you guys aren't in the movie biz, if you aren't in the movie biz, if you don't know the terms, establishing shots kind of set things up for the movie, okay? They let you get a feel for what's going to happen, right? So the opening of a Batman movie, him suiting up, that is a great idea. That is a great idea, right? It's exciting. It builds the tension, like, yeah, this is a Batman movie. But the movie, it's music. And the shots that they choose to use, who in the editing room sees the first 5 minutes of this and they like, yeah, Joel, that's the shot. We need a good crotch and butt shot. Like, and then they open with Robin, who, let's be fair, in the Batman Forever, there was a good setup for Robin's character, right? Chris O'Donnell wasn't egregiously bad, I'd say. With the way they set his character up and everything else, I didn't have a problem with that. But yes, the Bat credit card, oh my God, we'll get to that. But yes, so they didn't have a really bad problem to me with Chris O'Donnell's character in the original film. I was fine with that. But where I have an issue is that he is such a whiny bitch in this movie. Like, oh dear Lord. I knew from the opening lines when he starts off and he's like, well, I need a car. Chicks dig the car. Like, I know it's supposed to be like this big, oh, awesome line, but it's terrible. And it sets a baseline for your character that this is going to be a painfully long movie. And let me tell you guys, I watched this today, and I'm not going to lie. I am a little bit buzzed because I drank so much to get through this movie. You have no idea. I've literally gone through almost a case to get through this movie. That's how bad this movie is. Like, Bitchy Unicorn said to me before she goes, she said, well, I'm glad you're not driving because, like, right now, I am just, like, Like, I had to get buzzed just to enjoy this. Oh my goodness, I've been vamping here for a second. So we missed a shot, and I wanted to get your thoughts because I went on my whole rant about it. What did you think of that opening shot where the first thing we see with Batman suiting up is Joel Schumacher has an unusual fetish for Batman's crotch and butt.
Yeah, it was definitely it was definitely I'm trying to find the right way to put it. It's definitely more let's say LGBTQ community friendly. It was something else, man. Sorry about what happened. I got my internet just dropped. My internet just stopped working. So I had to reboot my router and everything. So sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
No, it's fine. You know what? I actually had to go to the cell service because for some reason I got high speed, whatever. I can play freaking what is that? Watch the watch guard thing? Not watch guard. Overwatch. There we go. I can play hours of Overwatch with no problem. But God forbid I try to run StreamYard. It's like World War III. I get kicked all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, no, this was just my internet. It wasn't even just the Wi-Fi. I'm plugged straight directly into the router. My internet just went gone. So I had to to reboot.
So we get this, and don't worry, I hear a lot of people saying Bat credit card. Don't worry, folks. We're gonna break down every facet of this fucking abomination of a film. Because I'm getting angrier talking about it because I have to drink because my buzz from initially watching it is wearing off. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I drank half a case just to get through this.
Wow, that's a lot. I just opened a bottle of wine, so I am oak leaf in it tonight. I'm totally oak leaf in it tonight. But I just opened this. I'm on my second glass. But
it's so. What are your thoughts about those beautiful establishing shots that we get in the beginning of suiting up, of getting ready to face Mr. Freeze? Which, by the way,
even women who watch that, they go, really? Why did they just do that? You know, like it's that's strictly for dudes who just like that kind of eye candy, man. Because there's a difference between what women like when they look at men and then what gay men look at when they look at men, and they're definitely more superficial. You know what I mean? And you know, so that was definitely Joel Schumacher just being expressive, which is okay, I guess. I just prefer it to not be my favorite all-time character that I have to look at in that light. I'd prefer that to not happen, you know? I mean,
there were parts where I had to jump like a couple of seconds in the film because I just couldn't take it anymore. MJ1 videos. Thank you. I haven't seen you here on the channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe. But they says, Super Chat, as bad as the Bat credit card was, it's not as bad as Batman posing for Time magazine in Batman Forever. I can't argue.
Again, this was very much supposed to be like a modern version of the 60s TV show because, you know, the way that they would go to Gordon's office and be like in broad daylight and be like, hey, we're Batman and Robin, you know, talking to Gordon and the Chief O'Hara guy or whatever, right? So the same thing happens. He's got this little communicator that pops up on his bat steering wheel, and there's Commissioner Gordon, right? So it's the same thing as the 60s TV show, which is kind of ridiculous. You know, I prefer, of course, more the bat signal on top of the police thing, and only a few select cops have kind of communication with Batman and work together with him. I like that. It's a little more ominous. It's a lot more ominous, and it's and it just makes it more interesting. This is just, you know, what kind? Who's taking a jackass walking around in broad daylight dressed like a bat and a little robin bird next to him? Who's taking them seriously? Who's striking fear into the hearts of criminals doing that? No.
And this is the thing. See, when Batman was established, when you look at the original Batman with Michael Keaton, why that movie worked was, and I'll never forget, and Batman Begins kind of did the same thing to let you know. When he hung upside down and grabbed someone, I remember that vividly from the Michael Keaton version. Remember, he like comes down with the cape and grabs the person up, and the dude just disappears. And there's like 5 of them in this like boiler room or something, and he's grabbing these people from the darkness. And you know, as a kid, that shit was scary, first of all, but it was also intriguing. And I'm looking at it going, holy shit, there is a grown-ass man dressed like a bat grabbing these dudes with guns. They can't shoot because it's pitch black, and he's pitch black, so they can't see where he is, but he's just like grabbing these people. You don't know if he's like beating the hell out of them.
What he's not doing is ice skating. What he's not doing is sliding down a dinosaur's tail like Fred Flintstone, and he's, you know what I'm saying? Which is what happened in this awful pile of shit movie that happened in the very beginning, the first action sequence.
Oh my god, let's get to that. We're finally to the first action set piece, and look, I guess from a technical standpoint, for the time it was shot, I could say, and then now I'm not a media shill, as my tagline says. I can be objective. Objectively, it's an impressive set piece, yes. But a good set piece doesn't make for a good scene, okay? You could have the most impressive sets and backdrops in the world, but the way this plays out is absolutely atrocious. First off, I want to know how I don't even know where to start with this, but how the fuck does Batman have ice skates in his boot? Like, how does he?
They do everything, dude. Dude, in the 60s TV show, in the 60s movie, the movie that the Adam West and Burt Ward movie, it was there was a shark hooked onto the Batcopter, and he had bat shark repellent. It said so on the can. Bat shark repellent on the can. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they're doing. They're just trying to. I mean, they just got ridiculous with it. They thought for some reason people were going to enjoy this, and they just didn't, man. Like we were getting to a certain point. This is just before this movie was made, just maybe a year or two before The Matrix. You know, so movies are taking a turn for, you know, technology wise and what they can pull off, and we want to see a good Batman movie. You know, the fans do, and this I still don't think they've even got it right. Honestly, you know, I mean, yeah, I think that the Nolan series did, but dude, I hate Christian Bale as Batman. I'm not trying to lie. I think he's a great Bruce Wayne, but he's way too over the top with the voice, and he's got a lisp, and it bothers me, you know?
You know, that's always, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't bug me, but it does make me laugh, especially I've watched that interrogation scene with Joker so many times. Oh man, I watched this spoof. I forgot who the people are, but it was so hilarious when this person, they specifically spoofed the interrogation scene, and it's Joker's like, I can't understand you if you just talk normal. Like, yeah, he does sound like he's got like
I mean, they made the most intelligent man in the world, right? The most intelligent human being in the world. That's basically Bruce Wayne / Batman's character in the DCU, right? So he's the most intelligent, the best, the world's greatest detective, everything, right? And they made him a mouth breather. You know, that's weird. You know, and it's, come on, man. Like, like that's not the person that I read in comics. You know what I'm saying? That's not the person that I'm seeing in comics.
The
So
rest of the
that got
one
on my nerves.
says, I am totally a believer that Michael Keaton movies were the real Batman, and the following movies, Val Kilmer and George Clooney, are Hollywood's attempts to publicize uh, on the anti-hero. And you know what? With that statement, I wouldn't, based on rewatching this piece of shit, I would not doubt that statement. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do think that Christian Bale is a particular actor, and he nails certain things. I think
I
the
love
Bruce
him.
Wayne
I love
aspect.
Christian Bale. I just think he was a terrible Batman. Like I said, I even think he's a great Bruce Wayne. I just couldn't stand him as Batman, but I love him as an actor. He's one of my favorite actors, actually.
Oh yeah, and the fact though, here's the thing: he at least nailed one, and we could argue Val Kilmer nailed one of them. Michael
Right.
Keaton was the exception to the rule;
He
he nailed
he
both.
he did. He absolutely did.
So, I mean, you see, the tricky part about Batman that most people don't realize, unlike Superman or another property, is you're playing two roles. You're playing Bruce Wayne and you're playing the Batman, and there are
Right.
two very separate things. They are literally polar opposites of each other. Bruce Wayne is the facade. Batman is the vigilante,
Right.
crime
Yeah.
fighter.
Batman, but Bruce Wayne does not dress up like Batman. Batman dresses up to be Bruce Wayne. He is always Batman at all times, and when he's Bruce Wayne, it is an act. Like they did very well with that with Batman Begins. And Batman Begins, he's apparently drunk and he's got these women with him, and they end up taking a bath in the fountain of the restaurant, and then like buys the restaurant, so they can't do shit to him about it, and that's just totally not Batman focus. It's all part of just taking the attention off of him and people thinking there's no way that this guy could ever be this vigilante that beats up criminals all night.
Yeah, and that was the thing that made Nolan's trilogy. Like Nolan's trilogy for me, it rang out as someone who understood what Batman was, and he had a clear knowledge of the comic books and the lore. And although he chose to change things, he still stayed within that format. And then you have this movie where Joel Schumacher comes off as someone who had no fucking idea who this character was that
Right.
they tapped to do these movies.
That's
And
the problem.
he was like,
That's the problem. His only frame of reference was a TV show from the 60s. That's what he thought it was. He didn't realize that it was such a deep character. Yeah, no, I don't think he had any knowledge of this at all whatsoever. So I don't actually blame him. Like I said, I blame the studio. I mean, like I read, dude. Well, I didn't read it. I listened to a podcast. I sent you a podcast link to a podcast where I didn't even know about this. There's a 1982 script by Mankiewicz. I forgot his first name, but this guy Mankiewicz, he wrote a bunch of Bond movies, right? And he like the way they're explaining the script in this podcast, I'm like, this is great. I would have loved this movie. It would have been a great add on to whatever Superman was doing with Christopher Reeve at the time. It was great, It made sense to have a Bond writer write a Batman movie for 1982. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense to me. And ironically, it turns out that Mankiewicz had Nicholson in mind for the role of the Joker, even back then, which is pretty cool, I think. But
well,
I listened to another podcast today where there was a script by Darren Aronofsky and Frank Miller. So Darren Aronofsky wrote the movie Pi, and he also did that Noah's Ark movie with Russell Crowe, Requiem for a Dream. This is very, very depressing, actually, his movies usually. But listening to this podcast and how it explained him and Frank Miller together, this was a super dark take on Batman, which I think we all would have loved, honestly. But nobody was ready for it when it was written. This was back in like 2000. This is just before they did Batman Begins and settled on Nolan taking control of it. But this Aronofsky Frank Miller thing, it's actually supposed to be year one. So it was Darren Aronofsky and Frank Miller writing year one, and Frank Miller, as you know, wrote year one, the graphic novel, and it's super duper dark, a lot of Catwoman stuff. And that her background, which they've never really covered in movies, closest thing did to it was the Dark Knight Rises, but she was a dominatrix / prostitute. Selena Kyle was, and Frank Miller's origin of her, and it's, you know, and a thief, you know, but she just ended up. The Catwoman was a dominatrix outfit that she wore for customers, you know. And
yeah, like Frank Miller has had the darkest and probably my favorite storylines.
RoboCop 2, that was him. RoboCop 2 was him.
Yeah.
That little sadistic kid. Yeah, man. I mean, only he could come up with that and get away with it in the 80s or in the 90s. Crazy.
Oh, the 90s was so great. The rest of one says, at the glare, to me, it felt like the act to take the attention away from rumor that Bruce Wayne could be Batman played too much as an act, and it was obvious. I prefer RDJ's Playboy act in the MCU.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is about RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., as you're referring to, as Iron Man, well, I mean, he is Iron. He's, you know, publicly people know that he's Iron Man. Very, very different. Batman and Bruce Wayne, people don't know that he's Bruce Wayne, or that Bruce Wayne is Batman. But
and that's the thing too, because we're talking about two different stories. Like I'd love to do a compare contrast, because they're probably the only ones really DC Marvel you can compare really well, because they're both billionaires. They both have, you know, their suits or whatever. They're both dependent on their suits. But like you said, the big difference is Iron Man already came out. Yeah, and they're both do detective works, and I even say Iron Man is smarter than Batman just because he figured out a way to go back. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, as far as the MCU goes, it's between Iron Man and Bruce Banner, I think, are the smartest people. But the DCU, it's definitely, as far as humans, it's between him and Lex Luthor, Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor. But
oh yeah, and they've gotten into their own tips. Yeah. But it's really interesting, because when you think about this and like the casting, I want to know, my very first question about it is, I want to know why the fuck George Clooney came into this conversation. Like, how at that time?
I think it was the square jaw. It was the square jaw. He had it, and he was blowing up. Uma Thurman had just done Pulp Fiction, and she was the hottest talk of female leads in Hollywood at the time. So, you know, Alicia Silverstone, that's where I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, she's the reason why I come to the conclusion that all of them were cast for the reason that they were big stars. They were cast merely to sell tickets. They weren't cast because they were right for their roles. You know what I'm saying? Alicia Silverstone is not Batgirl, you know, and they got the story completely wrong. Batgirl, everyone knows that Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Why is she Alfred's niece in this movie? That makes no sense, and it's stupid. It's just dumb, and it makes me angry as a Batman fan. I'm catching myself like getting pissed, because I'm like, who the fuck are you? How dare you fuck with that? You know, like that's the whole thing.
Yes, that was another thing too. Like, I understood making that storyline, which I think it could have worked in either way. And rest in peace to the person who plays Alfred in this movie. This was his last role, unfortunately.
He was a great Alfred. He was a great Alfred.
Oh, he was a
Little too
wonderful
old.
Alfred.
Little too old, but I mean, so was Michael Caine, but still pretty amazing. Like they both did fantastic jobs as Alfred.
Oh yeah. The Alfred character has never been my issue. For me, my issue has always been this trying to find. We're gonna get to the rest of this movie. There's so much to talk about, even in the beginning. This might be actually a really big long one. Comics chat. Well, comics chat's in it. He said, Zod, what are you smoking? Batman is leaps and bounds smarter than Tony Stark. Did you watch? Oh no. Hold on a second. Comics chat. You should know. I'm a huge DC fan. We were saying comparatively who you can go for one in different universes. You know where I hang my cape. It's always going to be with DC. But I don't take nothing away from the other side, because apparently everyone thinks if you are on DC that you hate Marvel, or if you're a Marvel fan, you hate DC, which is the dumbest fucking argument for years.
Stupid. I've never felt that way.
I've never felt that way
in my life.
Ever.
My favorite things growing up, literally my favorite two comic books growing up were Batman comic books and Spider-Man comic books, because Spider-Man comic books are always funny. And I'm not a big comic book guy. Like, my cousins collected comic books. My brother collected comic books later on. But I'm, whenever I would go buy a graphic novel, I would find a Batman graphic novel because he's just my favorite character to read. So I can't get into a debate with real comic book nerds because I'm definitely not one. But I know enough, I guess, give or take, at least as far as like how these movies are done. I don't get too deep into it. Like, I never watch any of the CW stuff. It's never really interested me, The Flash or anything. You
saved yourself. Here was my issue. I watched the CW, and Arrow was my jump off. And I'm not gonna lie, I always reference this. If you ever want a good thing, like Arrow season 1 through 3 were okay. After that, it goes.
I did watch the pilot for Arrow, and I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Arrow was funny because they didn't have the Batman license, so they did steal a lot of things for the Arrow character that were Bruce Wayne's, but I didn't have a problem because Stephen Amell did a great job as the Arrow. So, like, my favorite scene was when he was tied up, right? They had him tied up with his best friend, and they knocked the best friend out, and then he gets out and breaks the dude's necks. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this is a CW show. This dude just killed, like, 3 people in under the 40-minute mark. Like, that was when it was good. And then
right, yeah, I like when they're able to do that. It's funny to me. My favorite comic book adaptation is of a comic book that I have never read. Not one comic book I've ever read. I've never read a Deadpool comic, but I think the movies are amazing, like hilarious, constantly laughing. I watching Deadpool. I watched Deadpool 2 again last night. I know about Cable. I grew up reading about Cable. I know that Cable is Scott Summers and Jean Grey's son. I know that Juggernaut is Professor X's stepbrother, I think.
Yeah, stepbrother.
So I know all that stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, this movie, the Batman and Robin, man, this was how you do it wrong in every possible way. How do you fuck this up? How do you screw up these characters? This is what they did. The Bane, the take on Bane is infuriating.
Oh my god! I told you before we went on, I had to watch Dark Knight Rises, and I just did a quote before I brought you in, because when you look and you said it was an interesting compare and contrast, and I had to, because there's only ever been 2 iterations of Bane. Unfortunately, this was one, and thank God Nolan redeemed him in this one.
Batman the animated series did a really good take on Bane.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
Like it really, really. There was one episode. I think the best Batman the animated series episodes were like the last season or the last 2 seasons, and the animation was just different. They drew them different, but they did this thing where I think it was Batgirl. I think it got sprayed with Scarecrow's toxin, and the whole thing was just this long nightmare where Gordon found out who Batman was because Barbara got killed, and so Gordon just is like, I've always known who he was, but I'm taking him down now. You know, he always knew he was Bruce Wayne, just kind of like unspoken. You know, and then you know, Bane comes in the picture as a hired gun. Basically, Gordon hires Bane to take Batman out, right? And Bane is just like super wisecracky, very sharp, very just perfect, just very almost Javier Bardemish in a cartoony way. You know what I mean? Like it was really awesome. So I saw that, and I actually saw that very close to when this movie came out, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not supposed to be like this. Made me really mad that Bane was made out to be just this mindless Frankenstein monster type thug, when he's everything but that. Bane is a genius, just a master in the art of warfare.
Yeah, he's a tactician.
Yeah. Right.
He is. If you see I believe it was the Fall of the Dark Knight or something like that. Bane makes a whole big trap for Batman, and it's when he breaks his back, and like, you know, the venom makes him stronger, and it's like a roid rage, but he doesn't lose his intelligence. He just gets an extreme amount of power and rage. And that's pretty much it. But his intelligence is still intact. And like my reference was Dark Knight Rises, because that's the one I watched directly after I was.
And there's nobody better. I mean, what are the chances that Tom Hardy is somebody that Nolan already likes to work with? There's nobody in Hollywood that you would get to play Bane other than Tom Hardy, in my opinion. And he was amazing.
Oh my God. And did you see, let me just tell you guys something. Tom Hardy did not take performance enhancers or nothing like that. Tom Hardy can get big when he wants to. For that role, they showed this man's workout plan. That was all Tom. And when he just gets on screen and he's like, well, I'm really wondering why you would shoot a man instead of throwing him out of a plane. And I was like looking at him like, and then he's got like the mask, and I was like, this is like one of my favorite. Like, I seen the movie honestly 2 or 3 times just because of Tom Hardy's portrayal. Like, my favorite scene was when he blows up that stadium and the dude is running.
Oh,
he doesn't realize it's blowing up behind him, and then he stops when he gets the touchdown and looks, and the whole fucking stadium's gone.
Right.
Like, that was, for me, that was Bane.
And the little kid singing the Star Spangled Banner had just set the tone for that scene and how crazy it was. After he blows out the bottom of the stadium, and then he basically just says, I'm taking over your entire city. This is it. You know, there's a bomb, and one of you has the trigger, and just geniusly just takes over the entire city. Now it's under his control, just like that. He did it like it was 9 to 5. He did it like it was 9 to 5 shit. You know what I mean? Like, he just goes from city to city and does this. It was crazy. That's what it made me. It was this character was larger than life. You know, way more of a threat than the Joker ever was.
Oh yeah, rest of what I know. I'm sorry, that was my Tom Hardy shell for the moment, but it's a compare, because when you look at that, which would come later, right? And then you look at the Bane that they put on screen for Batman, or like, first off, he does grunts, and oh god, I get so depressed thinking about this because it's like, flowers. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? What is going on?
It's so bad. Yeah, it's not even like, oh man, you guys messed it up. You know, it's like, man, how could you get it that wrong? You know, I could see casting the wrong person, maybe something, but just the way this whole movie was written, like I didn't recognize the screenwriter's name when I saw it in the opening credits. It said written by, and you know, I already hate that person. You know, they might be somebody cool, they might be somebody real nice or whatever, but there's no excuse for doing this. There's no excuse for it. I don't care how much money you got paid. Yeah.
Dude, and here's what baffles my mind. You guys don't realize, in the 90s, a 2-hour movie was something special. It was not like today. Today, every fucking movie feels like, and this has been my critique for lots of movies now. Today, every movie feels like you need to make it a 2-hour epic. A fucking horror movie. No horror movie should be 2 hours. But I've seen 2-hour horror movies that just spin their wheels. And I'm sitting here going, okay, when is someone going to die? Because I'm honestly getting bored, right? So everything is 2 hours. But back when we were first watching these movies and we were younger watching these, like, for a 90s movie to be 2 hours, it was something special. I mean, that was Titanic level. Like, you were in for something that was worth your time. So just imagine, man, I was young, I was excited. In 2 hours, I suffered through this piece of shit for 2 hours while my dreams. And I had my Batmobile, and I had my little Batman action figure.
How old were you?
Oh, God. I'd have to think. When did that movie come out?
97, I think. 98?
97, 98. I'm 35 now, so... God,
okay, so you're... Yeah, all right. Yeah, so yeah, I'm 10 years older than you. So
you weren't as heartbroken. You didn't have the action figure in the fucking...
Well, no, I know, but I had a tattoo on my back. You know, like, dude, I mean, not of this movie, but I have a big, ugly fucking Batman insignia in tribal going across the top part of my back. It's huge. It's a monstrosity. Easily my worst tattoo that I have, but I got it because I'm a diehard Batman fan. I always have been. And I was 25, and you know, I was doing a lot of drugs, and you know, that's so I got a big Batman tattoo, you know. But I loved. I couldn't wait for the next Batman movie to come out on screen. Always, and I'm just like, why doesn't anybody in Hollywood love these characters the way that I love these characters? You can make Nolan finally did it, obviously, but you can take these over the top characters and make them believable. That's the cool thing about the Batman universe, is that in Gotham, these characters, none of them have superpowers. Some of them have weird deformities or whatever, you know, but the Penguin could just be a mob boss who happens to be short, and it's not uncommon for back in the day in these retro times that these mob bosses had cool nicknames, you know, of certain, you know what I mean? So the Penguin could just be a guy that is a mob boss, because that's what he usually is in the comic books. That's what he usually is in the animated series. That's what he was in Gotham. I thought Gotham's take on the Penguin was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that show Gotham was so amazing. And you know what? We should totally nerd out and do more of these reviews. But before I comment, I've got a troll here that is My father, unfortunately, says, you're 36. You should let people know. I know I'm 36, but how does it go when you get older? You play the age a year back. You don't go a year ahead anymore. Dad, God.
I don't do that, but
The rest of what says.
I actually thought I thought I was a year older than I am one time, and I was having a drunken conversation with a girl at a bar, and then she like explained to me, she goes, no, you're, I guess I was 42 at the time. She was like, no, you're 42. And I was like, nah, I'm 43. She's like, no, do the math. Like, you're 42.
You aged yourself.
And now this is a perfect fucking stranger. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there going, holy shit. Shit, you're right. All right. Well, I'm a year younger than I thought I was. Fuck yeah. It's pretty great.
The rest of what says, at the Glare, I needed drugs to get through Batman and Robin, and I didn't have any.
Oh man, I was so mad. Like, it's like I said, I knew it was going to be bad. I just didn't know that they were going to go out of their way to make it as bad as possible. Like I said, I cannot stress this enough, and I just realized this today. If you asked me what the exact opposite of my favorite movie is, it has got to be this. I had no idea. I've never really thought about it.
Comic Chat says, who is my favorite villain on Batman? That is a tough one for me, because each Batman villain kind of brings their own flavor. I hate going with the popular opinion, but I'm going to have to say Joker, because Joker lends himself to anyone except for Jared Leto to play him however they want, because the Joker, as he says in the great Heath Ledger version, I'm anarchy. I'm a concept. I'm like a dog chasing behind a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I actually got it. That is the Joker. You just have to play that. You don't have to. There isn't a specific mold.
We have to. It's not all the actor, man. Like, the actor's reading lines that were written and imagined a certain way. So Jared Leto had his motivation, and he executed that motivation correctly. He did it well. The problem is that motivation was based on a bullshit idea of what the Joker's supposed to be. So Suicide Squad shit the bed when it came to the Joker, but Jared Leto didn't do that. I think Jared Leto could have played a good Joker, honestly. I think he could have done great.
I always defended him too, because I'm just like, come on, guys.
He did a good job with what was given to him. I mean, it wasn't his idea to wear. Yeah, it wasn't his idea to wear a shiny gold suit and have gold teeth, and it wasn't his idea to have this weird, unrealistic Dick Tracy villain gangster take on the Joker. He had no say over that. This is what they told him he was going to play, and so he played it. Heath Ledger's version of the Joker. See, that's the thing, is everybody's like, who's the best Joker and who's the worst Joker? There is none, in my opinion. All of the Jokers that we've seen have been a very original take on the Joker. Jack Nicholson's take on the Joker was very comic bookish. A lot of one-liners, just kind of cartoony. Still, you had the little, you know what I mean? Jack Nicholson did exactly what Tim Burton's Joker is supposed to do. But then you have Heath Ledger, who was Christopher Nolan's version of the Joker. When I heard Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker before the movie was even made, I heard through the internet that Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, and I was angry. I was pissed off. I was
a lot of people were.
Right. I was like, this is gonna suck. This is the guy from fucking the Night movie that played Queen.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Right. I'm like, this is no, it makes no sense at all. And then I saw the movie and I was like, this is the best shit I've ever seen.
You know what got me was the teaser where all you hear is this laugh. And I was like, okay, this is going to turn out all right. And then you see the symbol and I was like, okay, I'm going to trust Nolan to do this, and Nolan did not let me down. I mean, honestly, you know, people say what they want to about the third movie, but I think like that one had a bad press because there was shooting at a theater, and it just got you know, hit by critics wrongfully, and I felt like it never got to be hyped like the other ones did.
I saw The Dark Knight Rises at 9 a.m. That's how much they expected that movie to like make money. That the theater was, you know, usually the first showing of a movie theater is at like noon, right? The first showing was at like 8:30, and then another one at 9, and then another one at 9:30, and they just kept this going. Really smart to do that too. And I went at 9 a.m. And I was so happy because I had to work at 4 that afternoon, so I could go watch the movie, go home, take a nap, and then go to work. And it was the day after the shooting. And I remember I went and got my hair before, or right after I saw the movie, I went and I got my hair cut. And the only place close by was like an all black barbershop in Atlanta. Right. And the cliches are true, you know, like the movie Barbershop. That's how a black barbershop. and they were so cool with me. Like I sat there and they were just happy to get the business like any other business place, you know, so they welcomed me in. It's just that I don't imagine a lot of white people will go into an all black barbershop because people are fucking idiots. But I was like, I need to get a fade, you know. I was like, how's it going? And we ended up talking about Batman and talking about the shootings, and it was so funny because it was like being in the movie Barbershop, and I was having this hilarious like, and listening to these guys in the barbershop just totally burn each other and roast each other. It was hilarious. It was just one of the funnest experiences. So that being part of my experience of like, I mean, there's people that you go to the movies with. I went and saw that movie by myself, right? So I still got the pleasure of talking about it with people. It just so happened it was an all black barbershop. And they were like the coolest people I've ever hung out with and talked about a movie with. It was super fun.
You know what? And this son of a bitch. So like whenever I switch to Twitter to send a link to a troll, Mr. Pop Culture PB, apparently my picture freezes if I do it from my phone. So now my picture is frozen, and this troll hopefully will come on too and talk about Batman and Robin. He says, thanks, Tango and Boozy. Oh my God. But so because I guess he'll have some insights.
Am I crazy? This is completely off the subject, but am I the only one that wants to see a Tango and Cash sequel with Sly and Kurt Russell? Like, I would love to see that.
I would definitely pay to see that. No doubt.
Yeah, like Sly, just write it. You know what I mean? Just write it, please. You know? I mean, yeah, it's only going to really, I mean, there's a whole generation. Tango and Cash is not a good movie, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Oh, it is. It is. It comes from that time period. But see, here's the problem. A movie like that wouldn't play in this era. And you know what? And swinging it back to Batman and Robin, this movie would so not play in this like cancel culture era, because the shit that they have in this movie, when I was watching it, I'm not big on the whole objectification argument or whatever, but I'm seeing some of this going, like, they sexualized Poison Ivy to like a 20, to a point where I was even like, wow, every pun she says is like so sexual. Oh my God, they could not pull this off now. You know how many people would be that back at all. Movie? I sent it to your personal DM, Zod, DM PB. I've been drinking. I sent it to your DM PB personally. Your DM. Check your DMs. Damn it. I'm sorry. You know, that's just my partner in crime. You know, this is it's amazing because like the things she says, I never thought I would be on the side of these wackos, but I'm watching this today and I'm going, oh shit, that line would have had people pissed. That line would have had she says something like I need my gardens tended to or something. I was like, oh my god, like dude, can you imagine kids going and seeing this?
Just the seduction, like Robin getting all stupid with Batman over her and everything. It was just so just the story was absolutely ludicrous, and like it wasn't that it was difficult to follow. It was difficult to follow because you didn't want to follow it. You were just hoping it would go in just one direction. It was a horrible storyline. The entire thing completely. There wasn't a moment ever where I watched that movie and didn't feel like I wasn't wasting my time.
So let's talk about that convoluted. Let's talk about that convoluted plan, because the plan itself like made no sense. Like if you go to the original Batman or Batman Returns, right? All of the plans made sense. Like the Penguin was going to become mayor to make people recognize it. It was doable. It made sense, and they reached some kind of motive. Mr. Freeze's plan is to freeze the city, to hold it hostage so that the city, even though it's frozen, can give him money for his research for his wife. Now, the second part of the plan made sense because he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to freeze the whole city. That was okay given the shit I heard earlier. But the first part of this plan, I'm like, you're going to freeze the whole entire city, and then after you freeze it, hold them hostage to give you money, but everyone's frozen. So how the fuck can anyone give you any money if they're all frozen?
I'm not going to lie. One thing that you said before we started the stream, we were talking, and you said something positive about Schwarzenegger being cast, right?
Yes, there was.
I agree with you. I agree with you, actually. I think that Schwarzenegger did the best he could with that character. Honestly, I think he would have made a great Mr. Freeze. He could have made a really dark, dramatic Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean?
There's a moment, okay? There's a moment, and this is the only praise you're going to hear this whole stream for this pile of shit. But there's a moment. There's a moment in the movie where he is talking about wanting to get the research to save his wife, and he has a single tear. And the way Arnold pulled that off, I for a second believed him, and I said, this is compelling. Why didn't they do this for the rest of the movie? And here's my angry co-host. I didn't think you were going to watch Batman and Robin to even weigh in on this.
What do you mean you didn't think I was going to watch Batman and Robin?
He saw it already.
I watched it how fucking long ago? What year did the movie come out? Are you shitting me?
Well, I had to rewatch it, and that's why I'm partly buzzed right now.
Partly. Hold on. Partly buzzed? You called me your name.
All right, maybe a little bit more than partly.
I would say so.
The Rusted One says, at the glare, the Batman and Robin was so cringy, I should have slapped my ex-husband's name on it. Oh, I feel like that's a double burn.
Yeah, totally. Fantastic.
Wow.
That sounds like a mean tweet.
Wow. Remind me not to piss off the rest of them. Holy shit, that was a great burn. Rest of the word also says at Generals on the Phantom Zone, that was the moment I fell in love with Arnie's Mr. Freeze. Yeah, this is the problem with this movie. There are some good moments in here. Even with Uma Thurman, she has arguably some good lines, and I mean, it's Uma Thurman. Okay, full disclosure.
No, she doesn't.
Here we go.
Full disclosure, Uma Thurman is hot as shit. I don't know why. Maybe I'm related to Quentin Tarantino, but I've always kind of had a weird thing for her, like since Pulp
hot,
Fiction.
dude. Dangerous
Oh yeah,
liaisons.
without a shadow
Come
of a
on, man.
doubt.
Yeah, come on, man. I mean, we're warm-blooded men here. We can admit it. Uma Thurman.
I mean, yeah, we're all warm-blooded men, but that doesn't put Uma Thurman at the top of my list or anywhere close to the top of my list. She's just another skinny white woman.
I think that I like I said, they cast this movie based on what they thought. You know, they're looking at posters. They're focusing on the poster to be what sells the movie. And on the poster, if you've got big names like Uma Thurman at the time, like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time, like George Clooney at the time, you're just gonna, Alicia Silverstone.
It's really depressing that you have to say at the time with all of them.
Right. True.
You know, at the time, you know, before he was the governor.
Because they were well, Schwarzenegger had already he was already a legend, but everyone else was just really coming up. They were at their peak of their careers, you know. Yeah, I mean, Alicia Silverstone especially. I think that was it after her. After that, I think that was it.
I mean, did she? I don't know if she did anything after that. Nothing nearly memorable. As big.
Right, nothing memorable. Right. That's for sure.
Did that son of a bitch just leave?
He's back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to do this thing where I come out and then I
don't want to hear the things that you have to do. People aren't here to hear about your excuses.
Okay, good, because I wasn't moving on the camera. So what happens is when I send some ridiculous icon the link, I froze my whole entire thing because apparently Twitter has a seizure when you try to go on to Twitter and then come back to StreamYards. I have no clue what the disconnect is, but my thing just goes crazy. So they say the rest of one has a question for you at Pop Culture. It says at Pop Culture PD, the fourth Batman movie in this run was pure cash grab, and that's what all of them went in for.
Which was the fourth one?
Oh my God. Okay, how about I read the comment because you butchered it.
No, this was the fourth one. I'm stupid. I forgot about Batman Forever. That's 3. Okay.
No, read it. I read it perfect. What are you talking
You
about?
did not read anything about that perfectly at all. Are you shitting me?
The fourth Batman movie in this run was a pure cash grab, and that's what all of them were in it for. True. I agree with you.
Right. What I found funny about it was the fact that Zod said he was going to ask me a question, and that's a statement.
So here's my question to you, seeing as to you've seen this movie like the rest of us. What did you think of getting the opportunity, the privilege of seeing George Clooney's Batnuts and Badass when they did super close-ups?
Batnuts? When did you see any Batnuts?
They closed up on the crotch, man. They did.
Yeah, they closed up.
That's like a bat cup.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, a crotch is a crotch. I mean, they zeroed right in on it, man. It was.
Yeah, a crotch is a crotch, but there's a little difference between looking at somebody wearing a cup and looking at somebody wearing spandex. The outline's going to be just a hair different, depending on the temperature that day.
There's definitely going to be some business happening without a cup on.
I feel like when he said bat nuts, it was aspirational.
Oh my God. You see, this is
one could aspire to have bat nuts. Not literally, but Batman nuts. One could aspire.
I I mean, yeah, you know, he jumps off rooftops. He jumps off of like 50-foot skyscrapers and does the whole wing thing. And
well, I mean, you're the comic expert here. I just assume that when you read whatever that frickin' graphic novel is that came out with naked Batman, you were like, yep, that's what Clooney looked like.
Okay, first off, I gotta stop telling you things. Secondly,
right.
Secondly, no, everything about this movie was shot so poorly. So, I mean, we got through, oh my God, every time we try to get through a part, it's just like one terrible thing after another.
I gotta be honest, man. Like, I'm not gonna think of a part offhand, especially since I've got a good buzz going now with the wine. But I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to comment because you'll refresh my memory when you come up with parts. But no parts come to mind other than because like I get through the first like maybe 20 minutes and I'm like, I can't do it. This happens to me every time I try to watch it. I tried to watch it earlier. I couldn't do it. It's the worst movie ever made. It's literally the worst movie ever made.
It is not the worst movie ever made. There's no way that this could be the worst movie ever made, and that's exclusive. I'm just
ever made.
No, I disagree with that too. Every time that I've ever watched this movie, name you one, The Last Jedi. I've watched it one time, and I've been angry ever since.
Fair enough. I could see that. Now, I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I was when I was a kid, and then I just grew out of it. But The Last Jedi, I watched a lot of it, and I was like, but it didn't anger me the way that Batman and Robin angered me. It didn't make me mad the way that Batman and Robin did. I think the same things that made me mad about The Last Jedi are the same things that made me mad about The Force Awakens, which, I mean, I can't take Adam Driver seriously as a dark Jedi leader. I just can't do it. And I think he's a great actor. I love his movies.
But what made you angry about Batman and Robin then?
Everything. They didn't get one character. They didn't get one character right at all. There was not any type of homage to any of these characters. I think these characters are some of the best characters ever written, and they didn't get any of them even remotely. They didn't even try to get them right. It's like they went out of their way to get them wrong. Especially Bane. Bane is that just
Bane pissed me off so much. I had to watch Dark Knight Rises to see a good version. I was so angry. I'm like, I gotta cleanse my palate. But the rest of one had a great point, and I was actually getting to the scene. So thank you, rest of one, for getting me back on track. He said, "Here's a good question, Mr. Zod's Fandom Zone. When Batman cut the power to Robin's bike because he didn't believe he could make the jump, why did he believe he could cut the power and Robin wouldn't die from sliding off at that angle?"
It's almost like he was like, "Fuck you, Robin," like all subconsciously, like maybe I'll kill him and get away with it.
That was like so many ridiculous, like. That is such a good point because, right, they're doing this high-speed chase, right? Mr. Freeze is about to get away. This is still, God, we're only like 30 minutes into this movie. This is still like the beginning of the film. Mr. Freeze being chased by Batman. He does his little freeze gun deal. He makes this fucking jump. Batman and Robin are in pursuit, and Batman's like, no, Robin, hang back. And Robin's all like, I can do it, Batman. I can do it. I can make the jump. I'm doing a Gabe voice because he was fucking annoying in this movie. So he's like, I can make it, Batman. Don't cut the power. And he cuts the fucking power. And
one more time. One more time. There we go. One more time.
I could do Batman. So he's like, he slides.
Batman. I make the jump.
He slides to the very edge, and thank God stops. Batman, his thing gets frozen, so screw you, Clooney, because the Batmobile got frozen, so by your logic, you cutting his power didn't even make sense, because his Batmobile got frozen at 30 feet, and he ejected, which I imagine Robin could have did the same fucking thing. He could have pressed the ejection button, but we'll glaze over that.
No respect, dude. No respect.
It was a dick move. And Robin's name is Dick.
I mean, but in all fairness, he's been a shithead since the Forever movie. You know, like he's every time he's an entitled little shithead. You know, like you're a runaway, and the richest dude in existence just took you in, and you're bitching. Like, have some gratitude, bro. You know, be nice. Man, when I watched, I love Cobra Kai because it paints Daniel to be the character that I always saw him as. Once I became an adult, as a kid, I didn't think nothing of it.
Oh, because he's an evil fucking bastard.
Right, and and then I rewatched the 3 movies as an adult, and I'm like, dude, this kid is a fucking little shit, dude. Like first of all, okay, Miyagi fixes his bike for free, just fixes it, right? Doesn't ask him for nothing, and this kid is bitching and moaning about karate lessons. He wants karate lessons for free. Like,
that was an instructor. I know that is a team.
Have you seen Miyagi's shit? Miyagi is a busy guy, dude. Okay, to have his backyard looking the way it does and everything, you know what I'm saying? The least you could do is paint the fucker's fence. The least you could do is sand his floor. The least you could do is wax his car, and then he's gonna give you one of the cars, and you're still bitching and complaining. This kid bitched and complained through all 3 movies. I hated Daniel. I hated him. As an adult. Once I became an adult, I was like, I can't believe I ever watched these movies. And dude, he gets free trip to Japan, and he starts shit there. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what an entitled bastard. He acts like people don't have to work for money or something, dude. Like, shit costs money, dude, and I gotta fucking break. Dude, there's no way that Mr. Miyagi's house looking the way it did. My man's hands weren't calloused as hell. The least you could do is just help the guy out a little bit. Like, for some free
God, we need to do, because I was always gonna do the real hero of the Karate Kid, Johnny Lawrence, because Johnny Lawrence, because when you think about it, here's this little shit comes, steals his girl, starts shit with him for no reason. You know, he's having a disagreement with his girl.
Right. Did you see the little YouTube thing? Somebody made a YouTube thing where Daniel is the real bully, right? And I saw this recently, but it's hilarious because you see him. He starts explaining how Johnny they pull up on their motorcycles, and he's like, dude, this is gonna be the year for me. He's like, I'm doing it all right this time. I'm gonna going full on with school. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. He's got a plan of bettering himself, right? He's got a straight plan of bettering himself, and he's going into this right in detail with his boys, and then Daniel gets in the middle of his shit with his girlfriend. It's like, that's none of your business, dude. That ain't none of your business. He's like, that ain't none of your, that's a couple fighting, dude. You know what I'm saying? And then he's gonna be an opportunist and just shove his way in there. You know what I mean? Like, Daniel sucks, dude. Daniel sucks. Dude, Cobra Kai is perfect because they make him a car salesman. There's nothing more Weasley than being like it's so Danielson, it's not even funny, right? So they make him it's genius. It's genius. Johnny's just this guy who feels sorry for himself all the time, and he's just stuck in the 80s, and I kind of get that. But it sucks that he didn't become successful. You know.
Yeah, but that was because of the villain of the movie.
What do you mean successful? He's got a hit TV show.
Well, now he does. But, I mean, I'm saying like the character Johnny, you know, I mean, and I love it because, you know, he doesn't even understand how the internet works. He finds what's her face, spoiler alert if you're not caught up, and he finds what's her face through Facebook. Yeah, I mean, the fight scenes are pretty cheesy, you know, the kids that they got going on, but I'm really only focused on the old characters because I just love the dynamic that they have right now, and I still root for Johnny to whip Daniel's ass because he got lucky, dude. The crane kick, that's dude. Johnny is clearly the better karate. You know, he's clearly, dude. He's like a 2 or 3 time champion, All Valley,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like this guy's
and he can do it while he's drunk.
Right. And he's been doing this shit all his life. He's been working his ass off to get good at karate all his life. And then this shithead from fucking Brooklyn comes in, right? And starts, you know what I'm saying? And then he learns a crane kick, and that's going to end his whole thing because he got lucky. Dude, nah, man. That's bullshit. That is Daniel is like the example of how of when you explain to somebody how life just isn't fair. That's what Daniel is. Life's not fair. Somebody like Daniel will come along and just fuck up your life.
This is great. I don't even know. I feel like we have. Oh my goodness! You know what? We have so many streams we have to do because I've been saying this for the longest to people. Everyone's like, Zod, you're just picking the villain because, you know, you're a villain. I go, no, this guy's an asshole. Why doesn't anyone see it?
Dude, why are you bitching about painting this man's fence, dude? He fixed your bike for nothing. Just that alone, dude. Just painting the fence, sanding the floor, and waxing the cars, right? That right there should be a fair exchange for fixing your bike, right? That thing was messed up. The wheel was bent, everything, and then he left it like on the kickstand, all perfect for him to find it when he got home from school. And he's like, "Oh, hey, did you do that?" You know, and then catches a fly with his chopsticks. Guy's been trying to do that shit forever, and he's got to rub it in his face that he caught a fly with a chopstick.
Oh my god,
and dude in the world, man. Like, and now there's no Mr. Miyagi. I want Daniel to fail. I want him to fail. I do. I want to see him fail. I'm not even I watch Cobra Kai to see Daniel fail. That's what I'm looking forward
to. Yeah, all right. You know, this is hilarious. We got sidetracked because this movie is so shitty. It's really hard to stay on this. It's really hard to stay.
This movie's so bad. I mean, I can't.
What do you mean? It's super easy to stay on it.
What do you? Yeah,
I can say all kinds of positive things about it. All you gotta, if you want to say something positive about this movie allowed our friend Terrence to make the greatest Chris O'Donnell video I've ever seen in my entire life. That's got to count for something, right?
So let me tell you. So our good buddy Terrence, he is a huge DC fan, like myself. He made this video about Chris O'Donnell. PB, you do this one better than I do. Tell him about this video because this is the greatest video I think ever made by another human being that would almost make you think this movie was good. Go ahead, PB.
I mean, okay, we found this guy on the internet. He literally will talk about anything and everything. Like, he'll talk about what he's going to do for the next 5 minutes before he goes to bed. I'm not watching that video. Or he'll talk about Chris O'Donnell and how he just looks so fine in that bat suit. It's terrifying.
Chris O'Donnell's family doesn't even talk about Chris O'Donnell. Like, who the fuck is
No,
Chris? Like,
he made this video, and I'm not gonna lie, Blair. I'm not gonna lie. Terrence has the energy, and God bless you, Terrence, if you watch this video later. He has the energy, but the way he talks about this bat suit, it almost scared all of us. We were sitting there live, and who was it? I think it was Justin. Justin goes and he goes, "Holy shit, he's got a video of this." So we're backstage, we're not even live, and we pull up his YouTube and we're playing it. And he goes, "I gotta tell you," he goes, "those bat nipples and that ass of that bat suit."
it's fucked up.
that fucking bat suit.
I mean,
I was like, this is Chris O'Donnell should put this as his when he's looking for a job. He should just link this video to anyone.
I just hated this movie, dude. I just did. I remember I used to listen to Pearl Jam a lot, and they had a live concert where Eddie Vedder talks about Good Charlotte, right? The band Good Charlotte. And the way he describes him, he describes him as a popsicle that's been stuck up somebody's ass. Some people are into that, you know. That's how Batman and Robin is to me. I mean, I guess if you're into that, you're into that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling anything as far as this movie goes. They destroy these characters, and that's the thing is, you could. I think the comic books bring so much, and they're great comic books. I want to see a comic book movie make people want to buy the comic books, not the other way around. Not where a comic book makes people want to see the movie. You know, I'd like to see a movie come out where it makes you go, dude, these characters are amazing, and I want to read more about them. I want to know what the hype is all about. That's
Man. No, that's not what the comic book nerds keep telling me. They're like, no, this isn't the way it went in the book.
Yeah, you know what? Let me ask you about that, Blair, because you and me come from both sides of the fence, right? We've read the source material, we've read or we've seen the movies, right? Is it just me? And I hate these assholes, these purists who rag on a movie because, God forbid, they miss every little thing. And just from talking to you, I could tell. You don't got to get everything. We're not saying copy a whole storyline. We've already seen it. We're talking about just stay faithful to the basis.
I already saw that, you know. And you know what's cool is the DC, the animation movies that are coming out lately. They've been doing a good job of covering these great graphic novels. The Killing Joke, it's too short of a book to make a full-length movie, so they improvised and they added some stuff with Batgirl a lot, which I was like, you know, whatever.
I mean, I wasn't upset about that opening scene on the rooftop. I'm not gonna lie about that, but you know, the rest of it, I was like, I knew it. I always knew that they had a thing. It was implied, but thank you for at least confirming it for me, because I knew that Baba Garden and Batman were doing something on the side.
I think the purpose of that was to make it that much more dramatic and that much more devastating that she gets shot and put in a wheelchair. So you have to have that contrast. Movies, if they do it right, you know, it's like there's the movie The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, right? Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. There's a horrible rape scene that is really difficult to get through and watch. But the reason why you can get through and watch it is because there's a redemption scene that takes place later. The revenge that takes place later on this guy is fantastic. So,
oh my God, yes, I know what you're talking about, and that guy gets
like when you're sitting here, you're like, this isn't necessary. Like, why are they showing me this? It's not necessary. It's gross. It's, you know, I get it. The guy rapes her. Why are you going into detail about it? and because it's difficult to watch, it's difficult to stomach, right? But the thing is it makes you hate that person so much that when she takes revenge on him and she tattoos that he's a rapist on his chest, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, yes, this motherfucker deserves every bit of what he's getting right now. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, think about it. You take the risk. Like, okay, you know, those of us with common sense, sure. Okay, with just knowing that she was done wrong by this guy, that still might seem excessive. But when we're exposed to when we're exposed to the wrong that he actually did, where it seems unnecessary and vulgar and there's no reason for it whatsoever, no, it was absolutely necessary for you to appreciate the revenge scene as much as you did. I don't know what brought me to that. What were we talking about before this?
We were talking about
no, after that.
we were talking about the source versus the purist.
Right. So
comic books versus movies.
Right. So when you have a thing like Barbara Gordon, and basically Batgirl and Batman like doing it on a rooftop, you know what I'm saying? And then the ability of her being able to even walk, you know, after they've locked up God knows how many criminals together. You know what I mean? Like, now she can't even walk after they've already established each other's love. You know, that's going to hurt that much more. You know what I mean? Her being paralyzed now hurts you as the viewer that much more, because you just saw that her and Batman finally acted on what you would, as a comic book fan, had hoped would happen forever. I always thought it would be her and Nightwing. Honestly, I always thought they had kind of a vibe.
You know what? I could buy. I could buy that. We're tapping into our inner nerd, but honestly, yeah, I always thought it was going to be her and Dick. I love saying that name, by the way, because guess what, YouTube? I'm talking about a real person, so censor that. Dick Grayson. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my rant.
You just can't keep Dick out of your mouth, can you?
That sounds.
Oh my God, PB.
That sounds like a jingle, like a commercial jingle. Dick Grayson.
But and see, that's where I think. What was that?
Oh, now you
PB
stop. I was going to cut you off and say that I need to admonish the chat, because I see a conversation being had down there. I know what goes on behind me. That doesn't mean anything is going up there. I understand the science. That doesn't mean I'm going to engage with the science.
You know, this is the great thing about the chat. Is that, you know, I let them talk amongst themselves. Yes, YouTube does not want us to be vulgar, whatever, and I'm getting close to 1,000, whatever. I won't say anything. But if you guys talk, go ahead and do your thing.
Man, you can drop F-bombs, whatever, dude. Like, that has nothing to do with... You clean up after you get the 1,000, and then you're monetized. Before that, I mean, it don't matter. Like...
Yeah, I mean, YouTube has been messing with me, man. $9.90 to $9.92.
Dude, I cuss like a sailor on my channel. Like, I just don't care. And the thing is if I acted like I didn't cuss like a sailor, my listeners wouldn't have any respect for me whatsoever, because they know that I'm being phony. And fuck that. Sorry, I just rather not be phony. You know what I mean? Like,
no. And I mean, it's fine. And
what do you got? What do you have unless you have what you see is what you get working for you? You know what I mean? What do you have? You don't have shit. You know, you know that anything that comes out of my mouth is going to be genuine, and it's going to be from the heart. Period. I don't want. I like to
think I do my channel like that. You've been in my Friday night streams.
Yeah, you do.
It's like I can't. Me, Pop Culture PB. We can't be like especially
The
on a
fuck did you
Friday
just
night.
say about me?
See, we can't be anything else but who we are,
Right.
and
Yeah.
people like that. They come to
I'm
the channel.
not going to allow your father to just come in here and change everything.
Well, no, I understand his perspective, but look, when I get monetized, there's going to be a section for us to do things like this. But for this movie in particular, we definitely have to tell it like it is, because let's be honest, this movie, there's no way to say anything. There's no review to say in any way, oh, it was this, and this. You just got to say this movie is a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit. There's nothing that they like. It's weird because I'm not realizing it until now, but there's nothing to even, well, maybe if they took this and did a little better with that, nah, there's nothing. They went about this every root, every skeletal system of this film was done wrong. There's nothing to build off of properly. You know what I mean? Like this movie is an insult to Batman fans.
Oh yeah, yeah. This movie, and I respect the hell out of Joel Schumacher for one reason. He comes from a time where most filmmakers won't do this now. When they give us terrible movies, they won't do this now. I'll see you later, Mega Jetty. I know that was you, because you're the only one who sends me super chat, buddy.
I didn't know who it was at first too until I seen the message come through, and I was like, a super chat. That's
how are you getting
Mega
super
Jetty
chat?
One. It just says it in the message.
PayPal's, right? Okay. Yeah. You'll get super chats soon. We'll get you to 1,000, man.
Well, here's the thing for me, and I've said this on my channel to people. Do I want 1,000? Yes, but the thing about it is that I don't necessarily want it just because of the monetary reasons. I want it for the reason of reaching more people, because this is a great community. We have had an amazing chat. 30 people watching. Thank you, everybody who's here for an hour or 41 minutes of trying to review a terrible movie and going off on tangents. But
I ain't been watching that long.
I mean, let's be honest. This is kind of, I kind of thought it was going to go this way anyway. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I knew that I've been doing like panel live streams with people for a long time. And I know that if we're drinking, we're going to end up just having a natural conversation, having a good time. And if it's off the subject, it becomes off the subject. It just happens. But, as long as the chat enjoys it, and we're enjoying ourselves, I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Oh yeah, and this is the thing.
Oh yeah, they definitely enjoy it, and the fact that I don't want somebody to put their fingernail near my colon.
I don't see. This is why I haven't glanced at the chat, because I know right now there's been some really outlandish messages back and forth. But see, this is the great thing. See, this is my point to reaching more people, is that this is what we should be doing. We should be connecting other people to be able to talk about this subject or whatever they want to talk about, right? At the end of the day. And this is what media should be. This is what film should be. And unfortunately, we've gotten to such a stingy, disgusting culture that people are afraid to talk with one another because they're afraid of what some asshole keyboard warrior is going to say. That's me. I was on Twitter earlier.
You were the asshole keyboard warrior? I fucking knew it.
Oh yeah, I always am. But anyways, I'm the anti-asshole. Whatever. Use whatever phrasing you want to. But anyways, I was on Twitter earlier, and there's this person, Jojo. Yeah, shout out to you. I hope you look at my channel, because I am specifically talking to you, you vile woman. She sat here, and she was the one who came up with this Depanon thing, right? And she comes on my thing, and this was during my uncle's thing and stuff when I was promoting, and she says, oh, get your 99 cents from all of your viewers. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not even at 1,000. What are you talking about? I'm not monetized.
I
I'm
love
not
when people.
trying to
I love when
monetize.
people tell me that shit. I love when people are like, "You're in this for clout and the money," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, what money? There is no money. Clout. I mean,
And
really?
You know what's funny about these people? It makes me think that these people are in it for clout because everybody who calls you out on this
Oh,
shit.
they're absolutely projecting. Absolutely. Yeah.
They're projecting 110%.
Yeah.
They are projecting their own insecurities and attacking you because they themselves are insecure about who they are in life. And I'm like, you could go ahead and say what you want to. And I
Dude,
answered
I could say something fucking so dumb and I could fuck up everything right now. All it takes is just one stupid sentence out of your mouth, and then it's over. And then everybody hates you.
Zod does that every week. We're still here.
Right. I mean, right. No, it's true because I know that I have a certain amount of people in my chat that come in and no matter what I'm doing, it's all about us just hanging out. You know what I mean? It's all about us just getting together and having a good time. And yeah, when it's something that I'm like, yo, I need you to spread the word on this, that's a little different sometimes. But I agree with you. I agree with you that it's not. It's about having something to say, having something that you have conviction about, and putting it out there because you have a platform to your disposal. Yo, Cherry K, behave.
Cherry K she's the greatest mod in the world, but I'll tell you right now, Cherry K's got some interesting hashtags she spread around, which, by the way, I remember me, Loki, and PB were talking about pineapples and Little Nicky, and you guys know what happened in that scene, and she spread that hashtag like, oh my God, like now I got people coming and DMing me the little peach with the pineapple. Oh gosh. But anyways, the point being, that's the thing that's the thing that gets me is that and it's like with this whole Gina Carano thing and everything else. I said, when you start down the path, and I don't give a shit who it is because I don't like James Gunn either, and the nasty shit he said I think was worse, especially when you're talking about girls, and he said, I'm going to host a How to Catch a Predator party and invite some underage girls. Okay, you dick. I didn't personally like the tweet, but I'm not going to sit there and cancel someone because of it, because at the end of the day, when you take out the freedom of speech part, when you take out the ability to, within reason, whatever, when one person is saying these things, other people are saying these things, and you're only canceling this one section, but you're not canceling this other section, it sets a very dangerous precedent. It's almost like 18th century witch hunts now. That's what it is. Remember in the 18th century, folks? They used to do this. They used to say their neighbor, look at Salem. This is exactly like Salem. Look at Salem. They would just say, hey, I think my neighbor is a witch. And they fucking burn them at the stake.
Did you ask me if I remember back to the 18th century? Because no, I don't. But unfortunately, I've read a thing or two.
Yeah, reading that, PB. Isn't this just like a modern Salem now? This culture that we've entered, it's like a modern Salem.
I mean, I don't know, man. That's kind of a that's kind of a reach a little bit.
Virtual witch burning.
I mean, by the public, sure. I mean, but what it does is it hurts someone's pockets. It doesn't necessarily affect their freedom. You know what I mean? When you talk about that, that's a little different. Like when you talk about these witch burnings and whatnot, well, I mean, if people's rights are being taken away, that's one thing, but it's true. The public, like YouTube, that's all it takes. You come on YouTube and you start spewing out hatred and start doing a bunch of nasty, dirty shit, it's crazy because people will hate you. People will be like, that person is awful, right?
Yep.
But let's take Truthy for instance, right? Let's talk about that for a second. As much as I hate talking about him, but you bring him back into the picture, right? Let's just say he just decides to be bold as shit and start a channel, right? The whole community hates this guy because of what he did. He made everybody mourn him. He did fucked up shit and lied about it. And so, but the thing is he would have a successful channel because people are going to listen to him just to hate him. People love to hate. You know what I mean? I'm not, I don't think most people here would, but the fact is that people love to hate. There's a whole community out there. There's a whole dark side of YouTube that is going to be like, let's just see what this guy has to say. You know what I mean? And it's just the way that is. It's fucked up. So you're gonna have people behave in this community a certain way, and they're gonna be irresponsible. But the problem is that we have to have a higher standard for the people that we support in any way, shape, or form. Even if if you're clicking on somebody just to hate them, you're building their algorithm right there.
No. That is the improper way to hate people, at least on YouTube. Obviously, Twitter and all the other ones like that, they can fuck off, whatever. But on YouTube, if you want to hate somebody on YouTube, the best way you can do it, become a dead subscriber. Just sub to the channel and never watch a thing.
Yeah, you will kill their algorithm like nobody's business. Yeah. And that's the thing. And you said it best. Too much hate and mistrust out there. The thing is that there's too much of this. There's too much of this negativity that gets spotlight. And I was sitting there watching, because I watched the Gino Carano interview, right? And it was very illuminating. And I know there's going to be some people who, for some wacky reason, don't like her, whatever, or misunderstand the statement.
Here's the question, though. Like, does anybody here think Gina Carano is actually evil? Does anybody feel like she should? Do you think that she should not have a career? Do you think that she?
I mean, it depends on what you mean by career, because I'm sure somebody out there would be like, yeah, she should have a career cleaning toilets. And I would say, well, I'd watch her clean that toilet.
Well, I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna ruffle some feathers here, but
oh no!
Think about it. Like, I mean, she said some offensive shit, right? Should she starve over it? Should her work reflect over her poor choice of judgment? Because I mean, I remember reading what she wrote or whatever, and she posted some thing, and I remember being like, well, that was fucking dumb.
Well, here's the thing. They quoted it wrong. They quoted it wrong. That quote, because I had the actual tweet, they twisted, the media manipulated the wording, because how she quoted it was a historical thing that was a metaphor for what our society is, which she was saying it was like this town in Germany where they turned people against each other.
That's how I took it.
Exactly.
I didn't take it literally at all. Now,
dog, do not fucking jump on me right now. Go on the other side of the room. Thank you.
Now, when she, I mean, I looked at it like, what an idiot. I was like, what a fucking dumbass. The reason why I looked at it like that was because I knew it was going to be twisted the way that it was going to be twisted. Not because I thought that she meant something. I knew what she meant. I don't think she meant it the way that it was being twisted at all whatsoever. I honestly don't. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm telling you right now, I don't think that she meant anything malicious at all. But I do think that she should have used better judgment, knowing how cancel culture is today. And it was just a poor business decision on her part. You weren't thinking, but she didn't actually say anything. Basically, this large company, Disney, fires her because they're like, we don't even want to take the chance that something bad's going to happen. She's not Meryl Streep. She's not Penelope Cruz. She's not Salma Hayek. She's just she's this person who is kind of popular. The show is what made her popular. She's replaceable. They canceled her out of a business decision, not because they were actually offended about anything that she said, because it's just not true. They're not offended by anything she said. They didn't want to take the backlash that might come from keeping her on. There's a big difference there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you said. You said Salma Hayek, and then some more words came out. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. TB, this is why I can't.
She's not a huge Hollywood name. The only reason everyone knows Gina Carano now is because Disney fired her. I didn't know her name prior to this. I swear to God,
I did because I follow him.
I knew who she was. Yeah. I knew she did Haywire. I knew that she did a bunch of other movies that I thought she was fucking super sexy in because she was a badass. She empowered women. I love that about her. But at the same time, I didn't know her fucking name. You know what I'm saying? Now I know her name because it's all over the news.
Okay, first off, I just got to get to this. I'm sorry because everyone asks me. Carrie Lou says, Zod, DC or Marvel? I hate when I get put into a box like this. Like, if you have to choose. But I'm just gonna. But because you're such an awesome fan, you'll be able to get this one because you're an intelligent fan. Go by my name, and you'll see which one I pull more towards. That's all. If someone's
go by the name General Zod, you got rid of that name. Nobody can tell anymore, guy. Why would you do that?
Because
I did research, which is a bunch of crap.
I loved when General Zod, my favorite General Zod moment is when he got the Infinity Gauntlet and got all the stones. And then, that's my favorite General Zod thing. He snapped his fingers, man.
Oh, shit.
That was, why would you bring Thanos? Okay, Thanos, let me tell you something about Thanos. Thanos is a hack. I'm going to say, come at me, Marvel fanboys. Thanos is a hack. Zod was doing stuff for the good of Krypton. Those assholes who were sitting on the seats, they didn't want to see the writing on the wall.
He was doing stuff for the good of Krypton? Wow. He was trying to save one entire planet, when in reality, he was really only trying to save his own continent, whereas Thanos was trying to save the universe. But whatever.
Fuck Thanos. Look, the universe is great. The universe is important. But at this time, Krypton.
But fuck the universe. We only need Krypton.
All this stuff. Okay, it's like America. We gotta worry about Krypton. We gotta worry about what's going on there. And he tried to warn them. Jor-El tried to warn them. And these stuffy jerks, they were all like, "Oh no, everything's fine. We're gonna make it." They didn't listen to Zod, so Zod had to do what he had to do. He started a rebellion. It didn't go as according to plan. And
hey, Mr. Drunk's Fandom Zone.
Yeah,
there's a question for you in the chat. I don't know what it is, but Bonnie said that Carrie had a question, so it's there somewhere. I don't know where it went.
Okay, hold on. I'm going up.
I'm not with you on that. General Zod didn't start a rebellion. He tried to take over Krypton. and
He tried to
was
take
like,
over
you're either with me
right.
or against me. He did like the most superhero villain shit ever.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
was, don't try to humanize this guy. General
He
Zod
tried to
fucking
save
sucks, dude.
everybody the same
Yeah.
way that the
General Zod is-
Nazis
yeah.
did.
Yeah, General
No,
Zod is basically the Hitler of Krypton.
I am offended. He did not go the Nazi route. He just simply said, kneel before Zod or die because I'm trying to make shit better. You know,
Well,
sometimes you gotta crack
It
a few
sounds
eggs to make an
familiar.
omelet.
Yeah. It sounds familiar. I remember Hitler saying something quite similar. And then we have like, these people over here, they're not really people, so we kill them. That's not good.
It's so wild card. If I have to commit, I guess I'd have to say DC. DC will always be the one I will choose first. And despite what these cretins,
because it has Superman, right?
what these uncultured people say about Zod, he tried to help. He tried to help a civilization, and you know what? It was a statement to the way that the government is. They ignored him when he said, hey, my boy Jor-El has science and facts that the planet is going to blow up. And they were all like, nah, man, it'll be all right. And he's like, it won't be all right. And so he had to do what he had to do. He had to take the planet over. Shit happens. What do you want me to say? That's how it goes.
Wow. That's the defense that every war criminal from the 40s should have used. You know, that shit happens. I don't know what happened. All I did was walk into the room. I thought I was turning the lights on, and then everybody in the other room keeled over. I don't know what happened.
I wonder, they actually did use that excuse. I just wonder why it didn't work.
Probably because, I don't know,
It's
it's something that Zod would think of. Exactly.
Bullshit. Yes, Zod is a sadist and a tyrant and a genocidal maniac.
Whoa. Zod did not genocide anybody. There were still a good amount of people left on Krypton after the rebellion.
Did you not see Superman 2? Did you not see Superman 2?
I saw Superman 2 Pack-a-Lies. That was told from the perspective of the hero, and the hero always get it wrong.
Superman 2, I take your pick, either the Richard Donner cut or whatever the hell, the Salkin cut, whichever one. Take either one. But General Zod planned on destroying mankind. Man of Steel. He planned on destroying mankind. Genocidal.
Yes, thank you, Gary North. He understood. Zod went out like a badass, at least. He never got me too'd. I absolutely positively agree. I would take my neck getting snapped 1,000 times over getting hashtag me too. Could you picture Zod now? He's like, they'd be like, oh, you have women in skin tight leather? Oh, you know he's just doing something over there in his little tower trying to rule the world. That would have been Zod's greatest weakness. Jesus Christ, cancel culture? That would have taken out Zod quicker than Kal-El. He would have just had to put a post.
Zod just wanted what was best for his people, but so does Fidel Castro.
Come on. We can't do Zod versus Thanos. Come on, Trick. That isn't even fair. Thanos is apparently a new god, because there's old gods, because in Marvel they got to make up a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, Thanos is like a new god, okay? And, you know, if he's off of Earth, he's godlike.
Did you just say that Marvel had to make up a bunch of stuff as you are using a DC term?
Look here, okay? I'm just going to say it. Marvel and DC has bit off of some of Marvel's stuff, yes. But Marvel has bit off of a lot of DC stuff, too. I'm just saying. Thank you,
Well,
Gary
you know,
North.
you know what it means when you use the phrase "just saying." You're just saying nothing.
Gary North makes an excellent point. Thank you, Gary North. This is why I love Gary North.
I agree with Gary North. Zod.
I mean,
Thank you.
it depends. Okay.
But
I will halfway agree with Gary North because if Thanos goes to Krypton, game over.
Right. I just had a brainstorm actually because Zod is only good. He's only as strong as he is in the Earth's atmosphere. Thanos can be anywhere. Thanos can be anywhere.
But now, oh my God, we're full nerding out. We completely, folks, this went from a review of Batman Robin. You guys get the highlights. It sucked. So now we're just nerding out here. So, okay. Yes, maybe Thanos could go anywhere, but let me just tell you guys about the greatest villain ever. The greatest villain ever, Darkseid. Darkseid is a god he is so big that literally, his form can't be held in Earth whatsoever. Thanos has it. Yes, Darkseid.
Darkseid. The one when I watched the movie, they brought one of the old gods back, and he beat the ever-living shit out of Darkseid. That Darkseid?
No, he didn't beat him.
If this live is about anything, it's that the movies don't count for shit.
And the glare for the win there, I could totally get behind that because look, if you take Darkseid versus Thanos, okay, Thanos, well, number one, and I've read everything on Thanos. Thanos is the youngest out of all of the gods. He's like basically like what the fucking like middle child, okay? So there's apparently other more powerful people than Thanos, okay? So if you took Thanos against Darkseid, who there is no one in his league, okay? His true form cannot be materialized on Earth because he's got to condense himself. It's just too big.
You got to make a different argument because you keep on mixing up names and the points that you're making, and everything that you have said has not made sense. All of it.
What are you talking? I've made perfect sense.
You just said Thanos had to change his size, not Darkseid.
Darkseid had to change his size. Okay, you get what I'm saying.
You said that the first time, and then when you reiterated it, you said Thanos. And the chat will back me up because you're a drunk putz.
Listen, in the Infinity War movie, the beginning, Thanos fights Hulk and whoops his ass like he's nothing practically.
Nothing.
You know, I mean, it happened. You know what I mean? These things have to be considered. Now I don't know a lot about Darkseid, but when it comes to Zod and Thanos, I don't know. Like on Earth,
I would say
Zod's got Thanos. On Earth, Zod's got Thanos. But anywhere else outside of the sun's atmosphere, out of the yellow sun, I don't know. Well,
I mean, if you're doing Thanos versus Darkseid, it pretty much comes down to is Thanos tough enough or his skin tough enough to resist the Omega beams? And if it is, they're on the exact same playing field.
Oh, wow. The rest of one says, okay.
Can somebody explain Darkseid, please?
Oh, Jamie Vick. Oh, Jamie Vick. Oh, what a wonderful comment. Let's let Zod do that and see how well he does.
Okay, yeah, so
I'm not doing it because I can't do it. Like I know who Darkseid is. I know that he's powerful. I just don't know anything else. So please.
So basically, Darkseid is from like a hell planet, and basically Darkseid's power is through the hatred of people around him. like Planet Apocalypse and everything is pure hatred. So his power comes from hatred. And the Earth, as you know, we got a bunch of hateful people. So he's fueled by hatred. And so that's where his power comes from. And the Omega Beam is like this cosmic blast that can disintegrate. Basically, it disintegrates everyone, except for at times Superman.
Right.
It depends. That's really weird. But yeah, like Superman's been immune. A few other people have like dodged it, but Superman's like the only one who's been in a hard counter. He's basically a god. Like when the Earth was first forming and things like that, like he is pretty much the embodiment of evil. So, and they call him an old god. Him, who the hell was in Titans? That other god. Shit, it's escaping me. PB.
Trigon.
Trigon. Him, Trigon, all of them. They are like old gods that they are so powerful that when they come to Earth, their actual forms cannot, they can't come as their actual form. So they have to be like basically materialized to what we can comprehend or what the Earth can handle. The Earth can't handle his full form, kind of like Galactus in Marvel. Like they can't materialize in their full form. So when he's on Earth, he's kind of that. I think that's why he can't kill Superman, because his powers are like condensed. But like out in like they did a fictional fight between him and Thanos, and like out in space or something like that, his form would be endless because he's just pure power. So basically, Darkseid.
So who wins in a fight? Who wins in a fight? Thanos or Galactus?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but JB Vick said, "Okay, PB, he didn't make sense. Would you please explain it to me?" he did that whole explanation. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Unbelievable guy. Unbelievable.
PB, you get what I'm getting at. Just go ahead and paraphrase.
I don't get what you were getting at, because all you did was take a bunch of random words and mash them together. You're like, well, some people might know these comic books. Other people might know these comic books. So if I just take some of those words from over there and some of these words from over here, and I mash them together, people will just either understand or act like they understand. But Jamie Vick ain't playing your games. She'll call you out on your fucking bullshit, man. So,
basically,
Darkseid is the easiest way I know how to put it. The number one DC villain. If you look at least the media that I've looked at, everybody has their typical villain, as in Superman has Lex Luthor, Batman has the Joker. Agreed?
Yeah.
Right. That is their number one villain. But the number one villain for DC heroes is Darkseid. He is the ultimate evil that is just lingering out in the universe, waiting to, I don't know, do whatever he wants to, because that's how he rolls.
I think Shalana put it best. The equivalent of Gaia or Uranus or the Titans. Yeah, he is like an old evil, an old entity. He can't be stopped because he is the embodiment, literally, of everything that is evil. That is why, despite trying to kill him or send him away or whatever else, even in Justice League Apocalypse War, when him and Trigon got into a fight, and he sent him to another freaking planet, he'll be back because he is the embodiment of everything that is evil in the DC
Stop
universe.
trying to make my explanation better. She already said thank you. Unbelievable.
But yeah, so you know, it's it's really interesting that and this is the thing. This is the thing there with Marvel and DC. I never got what this rivalry is because at the end of the day,
It's a
this
comic book rivalry.
Yeah, we've been dealing with this bullshit before there was internet, people. And I don't prescribe that one or the other is better. I think, see, it's stuff like this that brings DC down. DC has had this movie, but if you guys,
It's stuff like this. It brings DC down. It doesn't bring Marvel down. It doesn't lift Marvel up. It only works to bring DC down. Because only DC gets shit on for no reason. We never hear the argument of, oh, the Marvel movies are formulaic. They're all just like the other ones. I heard that fucking argument from you, you son of a bitch.
yeah, well, I mean, if the shoe fits, I'm
It's
just
a
saying.
bullshit argument, I know.
There is a
A
pattern.
formula to every
follow.
single comic book movie. I agree with that.
There's not a pattern to every comic book movie.
Really?
Joker didn't have one.
So you think?
It was not formulaic whatsoever.
Really? Because he lost something and then he gained something, which is what I'm told the Marvel formula is. The hero loses something and then he overcomes his challenges to be the hero in the end. And that's exactly what happened in Joker.
He lost everything.
He lost
gain nothing except for insanity.
everything. You're right. He lost everything. And how did the movie end?
With him in an institution.
With him breaking out of the institution. I think you misspoke a little there. You said that he was stuck in an institution, whereas he was actually breaking out of it. But I could see how you wouldn't remember.
No, I've seen your argument. No, sir. He did not break out of it. He had bloody footprints, and then they chased him from one end to the other, and that's how the movie ended. He was still in the fucking institution.
Sure he was.
The rest of one says, at Mr. Zod's Fandom Zone, I think I'm smelling another live stream Formula One movies. No, here's the thing. Yes, I do agree there's a particular template for the way they construct a Marvel movie. But to be fair to Marvel, because I'm a fair villain, to be fair to Marvel, we could say that there's a template for every movie ever created in the world. There's a formula that goes into making film or that goes into making a movie because nothing's been original since God knows when. I mean, you guys, anybody...
Sorry, I didn't mean to gasp at you, but fuck the Bears.
Oh, geez. Please don't bring up
the Bears. I read the chat. And Janie finally showed up. She apologized for being late, but then she said, fuck the Bears. So we're good.
I mean, Blair, wouldn't you agree that it's kind of it is a silly argument saying something is formulaic because everything has a formula?
Well, yeah. Anything successful has a formula. You know? If we're talking DC versus Marvel... Well, in the cinematic universe, well, yeah, Marvel's killing it. DC sucks. Even though I just want to see the perfect Batman movie, man. That's all I want. I don't see why it's hard. You know?
I mean,
like, you just cast the right person.
What constitutes the perfect Batman movie then? I want to hear what it is from your perspective. What is the actor's name?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
You don't know what perfection is, but you want it? Son of a bitch.
Oh no. Oh no. You froze him with that question, PB. Damn it.
Oh, I thought I was the one that was frozen because everything went silent in my ear hole for a second. Whoops.
No, I mean, to kind of piggyback off of that, for me, I think that they're getting close to a perfect Batman. But here's the thing. I think what the glare was getting at was Batman is tricky because you're not playing one role. You're playing two roles. So you got to get somebody who is going to embody both those roles. I think that for any fan would be the perfect Batman, right? Someone who nails both Bruce Wayne and Batman. I mean, that's something, right?
Yeah, that's a tall order. Not everybody can be the Tony Stark Iron Man.
But see, that's what pisses me off because clearly,
because you're a DC fan over Marvel, you're like, oh man, how come they could take a character that not even everybody knew and now everybody fucking loves him and we can't even take the greatest or second greatest, depending on who you talk to, but I don't see how he's not in the top two, character from comic books of all time, and we can't find somebody to play both roles.
I mean, yeah, that's the argument, isn't it?
I mean, that seems to be the, well, I shouldn't say the argument that we have, but it seems to be the conversation that we have with everybody that we come across. It's, yeah, he did a good Batman, but his Bruce Wayne was lacking. And then, oh, no, he did an excellent Bruce Wayne, but his Batman was lacking. And I've never heard anybody say, this actor did a perfect Bruce Wayne and Batman. I've never heard anyone say that before, but there's a first time for everything.
The rest of
no, I am not eating steak again. I'm not eating anything right now.
I'm eating a Cinnabon, but the rest of one said, at Mr. Zod's Fandom Zone, I think the Batman movies have to go back to basics. There is no personal emotional growth that is organic to the characters in the DC movies now, and that's why they fail. And you know what? I could get behind that. I could get behind that statement because really, and that's what you see in this movie, swinging back around for a second to Batman and Robin, right? Is that you see commercialism and wanting to sell toys. You don't.
Sorry, I wasn't humming at you. I was humming at being high on bacon and maple syrup. That sounds delicious, Monty. I would get high on bacon and maple syrup. Yes, I would.
I'm not gonna lie. This Cinnabon is absolutely fantastic. Sweet Chastity, welcome. Janie
not a
Davis,
sponsor.
Welcome. Yeah, I'm not a sponsor. But
like,
if you
said that she was here because I laughed at what she said in the chat and that she apologized for being late. And that was like 4 minutes ago, guy. What the hell?
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Drugs are the best food. If you got the best drugs, you don't need any kind of food. You just get that manna from God.
But no, I think that's really the big. I think that's really the big issue with any of these, and that's, I'm glad we can swing back to this point. That's one of the huge issues with this movie. One of the big problems is that it's so commercialized. It's so exploitive. I think the biggest problem, honestly, the biggest offense of this movie was thinking about making a movie based around selling toys and action figures and things like that. And look, I think it should be the opposite. A good movie will sell toys and action figures and stuff like that. I mean, wouldn't you agree? If you make a good film, you can make a toy on it and sell it.
I guess like anybody, because you're gonna have the children and you're gonna have the collectors, and if you have, I don't know, I want to say yes out of hand, but I feel like the answer is no, and I don't want to say what the no is too, because there are people in the chat that'll get triggered, but there are certain characters from a certain movie that their action figures did not sell for shit, and that movie made almost $1.4 billion. So just be... No, don't say it. Don't say it. If people can't come up with the clues, if people can't come up with the clues, that's on them. Anyway, there's certain characters from there. I mean, there's one man in New Jersey that bought an entire house full, and he was the only person that bought the character. He was the only one in all of America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in America, just EVS. He's the only one who bought that action figure. So no, just because a movie is successful doesn't mean that you are going to sell toys out of hand or hand over fist or whatever you'd like to fucking say. You'd like to think that though.
I mean, Glare, are you back with us?
Oh.
He's been having some internet issues. But yeah, we have the rest of one says at Mr. Zod's Fandom Zone. Unfortunately, Batman and Robin traumatized my children, and it took 20 years before they could watch it again. No Batman toys for my kids, their choice. Yeah, and I mean, there's a certain figure with a certain person. I mean, I love this person just like EBS, but nobody else.
You definitely love her more than me. I don't understand why more people don't, but yeah, character didn't sell for shit.
I mean, you know, that burlap sack was hot. I'm just saying, she was wrongly in the public eye. And I blame that on Roundhead. I mean, you know,
you're giving away too many clues, guy. You're supposed to be ambiguous.
I'm sorry.
You're supposed, like, that is a bold fucking clue right there. Many people know about that fucking clue. Unbelievable. You just hold a circle up right next to it. Looks exactly the same.
I mean, I'm not saying that you won't get the big clue I'm dropping, but if you do get the big clue, that was... And, you know, the thing that makes me sad about what happened to this particular individual is that, unfortunately, because of the mire and hatred they got from the other set product, they were marginalized in the new set product, which really didn't help. So, you know, it's just like, I feel like there was a bit of discrimination going on there towards a certain persuasion. I'm just going to say it. Persuasion of the culture. And
you're just supposed to say persuasion because it rhymes. And people be like, persuasion? What's going on there? What are you talking about? I'm just glad that people in the chat are not listening to you, Guy. They're just here to listen to me now. Obviously, before I assumed they were here to listen to the Glarer. At least that's what I got from the chat, but chat don't care about you right now, Guy. You're drunk, and all you're doing is mashing words together. I knew things were going to go off of both rails, flip back over, land on the rails, and then crash when I was invited onto the stream being called Zod. Who the fuck makes the kind of mistake that they call somebody else themselves? I'd be like, yeah, man, I'd love to have you on the stream, PB. Wait, I'm PB. That was probably a mistake, wasn't it? And he's like, nah, man, what? I didn't say that. I don't make mistakes.
I don't, because I'm the villain. The rest of what says at Pop Culture PB. Actually, I have been contemplating who has the better cod piece, Batman, David Bowie, or the lead singer of Camo. I believe I said that right.
Camo. Do you know how to spell camo? Because it doesn't have a fucking E in it.
Look
I
here.
did. Whoa. Hold on. Before you go on, I did not say, and if I did, I misspoke. I meant to say nobody cares about what you're saying. Not that they don't care about you.
Hey, sexy Deeth. Hopefully I said that right. Forgive me if I didn't. I'm slightly intoxicated. Said, why did I get silence for reporting news? I heard words. I don't know. I wanted to know what PB, who knows Bears, what he thought.
What I thought about the movie?
Or the Bears. I'm confused.
Or what I thought about the Bears, because I got opinions on both of them. One is definitely far more harsh than the other. I mean, as far as I know, there are no bears in Batman and Robin. Just nipples.
Bear nipples.
And he's back!
No, he's back!
Sorry. Yeah, my internet, it's been doing it all week. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hey man, it's fine. If I don't have technical difficulties by either normally myself, who hosts, or someone else, it's not a Zod stream. So you're good, man. I'm actually sitting back going, holy shit, I haven't fucked up once. So, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm getting pretty all right for this stream. That's why I'm letting PB talk.
He's so all right, he can't even think of a word that's a synonym for drunk. Smashed, intoxicated.
Hammered.
That's just a couple. I'm not going to continue on with this.
PB, did you hear them crawling in such a gross place? I have no clue what's going on right now. Wait, hold on. LOL. Weather Network report woman got bit in the butt by a bear. Oh my god. We need to talk about this. That is spectacular.
Why is your dumb ass giving the weather next to a bear?
Oh, Restive One said, I read the mistake. It was supposed to be a cameo. Okay. So, yeah. They in an outhouse. Okay, so someone got bit in the butt by a bear in an outhouse. This is spectacular. I don't even know who wants this.
Why did this happen like in the past? Why is there an outhouse still in 2021? Why does an outhouse?
Probably because people live in the woods. Like one of my good friends, his place in the UP doesn't even have running water in the house.
All right. Yeah, I guess
we still got wilderness here.
Okay, hold on.
We still have plumbing too.
I'm going to read this, guys.
What makes the thing?
This is
I know
Fox.
it's a thing, but they're weird.
Okay, this is Fox News. I'm going to read this out loud. This definitely deserves our attention. Wow, I did not even expect an article. Thank you, Sweet Chastity, because I know this is from you. It says, Alaska woman visits outhouse. Bear takes a bite out of her backside.
Backside?
Side. I'm sorry, that one was because of a laughter. Oh my God.
No,
All
it
right.
wasn't.
Hey.
They
Anyways,
can literally hear you. You make it seem like everyone listening can't hear you, and they clearly heard that you were not laughing and just said the wrong word. And then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to come up with a lie in 2 seconds, and nobody's going to double check me. So it's fine. I'm still here, motherfucker.
How are you going to let this man play you like that, man? General Zod.
It's our back.
Like that?
It's our back and forth. You know, what
because
can I say?
Drunk.
Yeah, and I like the abuse. And it's a masochistic relationship. Anyways,
clearly,
in the wilderness, you need to watch your butt sometimes. An Alaskan woman camping with her brother. I'm not going to pronounce that right now, but it looks like Kate Lake over the weekend. Nearly had a kiss to kiss hers goodbye when she encountered a bear in the outhouse, she told the local radio station.
Oh, man. If only I was laughing at you, Zod.
Somebody totally just ran by you.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Yeah, that's the unicorn. Hi, love.
Yeah, because my friend Robbie's live tonight, and he's like in a haunted motel room or hotel room, and so I guess see that freaked me out.
You brought food?
If you read my text, you would know.
Well, I didn't get you.
Yeah, if you didn't fucking ignore me. What a dick.
Oh my. Glare did the head move. Oh my God. Okay. See, this is why people watch the channel. You never know what's going to happen here. Anyways, an Alaska woman camping with her brother. Okay, I read that. I got there and sat down on the toilet seat, and something just immediately bit me in the butt, Shannon Stevens told.
Holy shit. Oh, yeah. Oh,
the bear was in the shitter.
I didn't even have time to warn you on that.
Yeah, so, yeah, she got bit in the butt. Shannon is her name. She said, I jumped up and screamed. I certainly hope you did. The commotion got the attention of her brother, Eric Stevens, who said he ran over to the outhouse. I take the headlamp and I grabbed the lid of the toilet seat and I lift it up, he told the station. Right at the level of the toilet seat, maybe an inch or two below, was a gigantic bear face looking right back at me. Wow.
Was it a polar bear?
No.
Oh, hold on a second. Before I continue, Jamie Vick says, before we get close to the end, I would like to ask a couple of prayers. A couple of weeks ago, I took a bad fall. I was on the stairs, losing my balance. I fell backwards, landed flat on my back, and ended up with a concussion for observation. Hey, everybody,
they put it into that protocol. That's the only thing I know about concussions is that you go in protocol afterwards.
So everybody, send a prayer emoji, please, to Jamie Vick. She's a great supporter of the channel. She's been here for a while. We all love her. Go if that's your thing, say a prayer for Jamie Vick. She is one of the best people that we have on here, and we appreciate her. So yeah, I'll say a prayer to the big man upstairs, G-man, and stuff like that, because I do that. Hey, don't mock me, woman. Anyway,
Oh, he said, "Don't mock me, woman."
Mock away. Mock away.
But yeah, seriously, say a prayer for Jamie Vick. She is an awesome person. She's a great human being. Just a quick story, the little sidetrack. When I was first starting out, I had horrible feedback when I was doing streams for my lives. This was in the dojo. If you guys followed me that long, I was in my karate studio shooting my videos, and she sent me a pair of headphones. So yeah, this is how kind and caring of a person she is, and I really wish her the best. So, the rest of one says at Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone. That's how you got the bitchy one, right? Thanks to the man upstairs. Yes, I don't even know how that happened. She hated me. She's sighing right now. She doesn't. Medical science can't explain that one. Shit happens.
So I wasn't laughing at you again. I was laughing at the chat. You need to be funnier.
Oh my God. Okay, so the duo ran back to the shelter, cleaned up Shannon's injuries, which were not serious, and hunkered down for the night. The Anchorage Daily News reported the next morning they found tracks leading to their campfire to the outhouse, but the bear itself was gone. They said the animal may have entered below the outhouse through a downhill opening and made its way towards the seat. Although the bear sighting should be minimal in winter, state biologist Carl told the newspaper that he'd heard at least 2 confirmed sightings this month in that area. Most bear sightings occur in the summer, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which are fucking useless. Males can weigh up to 500 to 900 pounds. They are considered the largest living land carnivore, although their diets also include plants. Black bears are ominous. Why are they giving us a breakdown of bears? Both bears are typically dormant during the winter, but they go through a true hibernation according to the Wildlife Service when they are out in the summer or the fall. I'm used to shouting, "Hey, bear," the whole way, Shannon told the radio station. It was
Hey, bear.
the dead of winter.
That's what I do.
I didn't.
That's what I do. I'm like, "Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Hey, bear."
Thank you.
That's not what I do. I say, "Oh fuck, I hit another one."
This is magical. I'm just gonna go to my desk. Guess. Mr. Pop Culture, what do you think of this? And then we'll go to you, Mr. Glare.
Like, I've never had a bear attack me when I was in the loo before. I can't imagine what that would be like. What I'm confused by is how it bit the person or the lady or whatever after she sat down. I feel like the only thing that bites you after you sit down is a snake. How are you able to get past and not notice an entire bear in one outhouse? We're not talking about like the outhouse is got multiple rooms in it. Hey, how about you stop fighting with my dog, you son of a bitch? You got caught on the kennel and you drag him around the room and it's not appropriate. God damn it. That was a distraction. Anyway, I'll end with fuck the Bears.
Glare, what do you think of this bear in the out? I can't even say what. Oh, Jesus, a bear in the outhouse. Like, and it wasn't the whole bear was inside the outhouse where you could go, oh my God, there's a bear. It was a bear was in the toilet and their face came out and bit the ass of the person sitting on the commode. This is so magical. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to me.
A part of me is like, well, you know, it's an outhouse. You know what I mean? Anything could be under there. Anything. But the other part of me is like, well, it's an outhouse. And if you have an outhouse and that's your way of relieving yourself, well, you should expect that there's going to be things under there. Maybe a snake, maybe a bear, maybe whatever. Who knows? But now, if William the Refrigerator Perry were to jump up and bite my ass as I'm taking a shit, I'd probably freak out. If Walter Payton were to do that, or Jim McMahon, yeah, I'd probably freak out. But
it's time to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's an outhouse. You know, an outhouse. It's 2021. I don't think it's shocking news that if you go and relieve yourself in an outhouse, that something might be under there. And I'm sorry for.
And you said it. He said it's a 500-pound bear too, right?
I mean, a bear's a bear. 300. 500.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between a 100-pound bear and a 500-pound bear.
Is there really a difference in their jaw, though? You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I feel like a small bear would still, a cub would be able to reach up and take a good chunk out of your ass if it wanted to. Right?
I mean, maybe a decent chunk, but that's like saying, hey, if I go out into the ocean and I get bit by a 18-foot great white shark, that son of a bitch can damn near bite me in half with one bite. But if I go out there and I get bit by a 4-foot great white shark, yeah, it's going to lacerate some stuff, but I'll probably be okay.
I don't know about that. I mean, a shark's teeth is sharp. A bear's teeth is sharp. Like, it's going to lacerate some shit. You know what I mean? No pun intended. It just is.
Okay, this is what messes me up about this story. And I'm placing myself in this story. It's in the middle of the wilderness. I go from my tent. I got to take a shit. Thank goodness I got this commode because I don't want to use leaves and who knows the elements I'll be exposed to. It's fucking Alaska, which, by the way, that was your first mistake. Why are you in Alaska? No man should be out there. Go see 30 Days a Night. No one should live in Alaska. Anyways, okay, so I go out there, right? And I'm like,
I don't know, man. Dave Attell did like a thing in Alaska. Dave Attell's like, the all night getting drunk thing. Yep. It was like dark.
Yeah, he's like an insomniac. I get that. I live that life. I'm doing it right now.
I see what you did there. Yes, the show was called Insomniac. And it was hilarious. And I could see myself doing that, sort of, but I don't know if I could do it. I don't know, like 6 months of no sunshine at all whatsoever. That would, I don't know. That would probably bum me out. I don't know if I could do that.
But I mean, okay, so I go out, I go to the commode, right? And I'm still trying to visualize.
No, it's a pool house, apparently. It's a millionaire's pool house outhouse, and the bear was hiding in the closet of the pool house. I'm reading you, chat. Don't act like I'm not paying attention. I see you.
Okay, so even if it's a pool house, right? And I go out there and I go to sit down, right? How? Like,
wait, so it's not an outhouse, it's a full house.
But the bear wasn't in the room.
That does
came through the toilet and bit my ass. Like,
I made all of that up. I made all that up.
Okay, good, because even with an outhouse, right? One thing
You're the one who read the story.
Mr. PB. Okay. If it was an outhouse, right? I'm still trying to figure how you don't get that there's a face in the toilet because it's like neck and stuff, right? It wasn't the full body. It was just its head. And it's not growling.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure. Go ahead.
When you go to take a shit, do you look for a face in the toilet? I don't.
I do.
I probably will now. Yeah, I probably will now. But I never did before this.
No, it works exactly like how Bonnie B said. She said, look, a shed you would have to squeeze past. Excuse me, Bear. What the hell?
So, I mean, no one in their wildest dreams would go to take a shit and it'd be like, I should look down for like snakes, scorpions, a bear head. That's not something that crosses.
If I lived in the wilderness in the out, I would assume that I would know my plumbing situation more or less. If I was aware of my plumbing situation and that was possible, then yeah, I'd be looking for things in the toilet for sure. Absolutely.
I feel like this is almost a situation where you have to get a plumber and be like, okay.
No, you don't need a plumber. You just need Australian training because then you're just on edge because everything is trying to kill you.
Yeah. Is this in Australia?
No, it
was in Alaska.
Oh, Alaska, that's right. I don't know.
So Sexy says, I think the article said the bear got under from another way, like outside. I don't think the bear crawled into the toilet through the seat. No, what I mean is when they went to take a shit, right, they got bit. But like it can't have come up from underneath, or was it from the side? I'm lacking. I don't know.
What the hell is a homophobic bear?
Hey, tonight on the review and critique of Batman and Robin, we will be discussing bears taking chunks out of people's asses with their jaws. Are they big bears? Are they small bears? Are they Canadian? No, they're Alaskan.
Are they?
I mean, they could have crossed the border. I don't know how far they walked.
Yeah, so it was from inside the toilet. Exactly. If I'm going to take a shit, I'm not expecting a freaking face in the toilet. There's a lot of things I expect. After I eat tacos, I expect a lot of.
So what's the debate here? Is the person stupid for getting bit in the ass by a bear when they were sitting on their toilet?
Or
are you not constantly checking your toilet to make sure there's nothing untoward in there?
No, I'm not.
What?
I never check my. Why would I?
Yeah. Have you not watched a single video of anybody getting attacked from something in the toilet? Just something. I don't ever want to be on the toilet. So there you're in a position where nobody should be fooling around back there. Like, I understand that everybody in the chat loves having stuff fooled around back there. But when you're in a position where nobody has access and then boom, all of a sudden you get snapped. No, I'm always checking to make sure there's nothing untoward going on in my toilet.
I'm sorry.
Bonnie B put it best. Bonnie P put it best. Bonnie B said, no, how do you not see a goddamn bear when you walk in.
I don't care where it is. It doesn't matter where it is.
Bear
You
was
gotta see
underneath,
that
man. It
fucking
was
bear.
hiding, dude, right? The bear was hiding. The bear came up from underneath. I mean, there was no way to see the bear, right?
I mean,
it
was it dark out?
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's about the
I don't know.
only way that I could see, or I guess not see, this bear, is if it is 100% like new moon, no artificial lights on anywhere, dark out, and you're like, I can't see my hand in front of my face. This towel seems weird. I don't remember putting this out here. Oh, my ass.
They were probably drunk. It's possible they were drunk.
Why are they fucking giving the bears alcohol?
Listen, dude, if I gotta go take a shit, dude, chances are I'm running to the toilet. You know, I mean, I get
Oh my god, it gets worse. Sexy said the body was in the hole under the toilet.
In the hole under the toilet, dude. That's what I'm trying to say. How do you don't have control over these things, man? That's a horrible, sad situation. This poor person.
Fucking Zod, stop trying to rename your subscribers, you villain.
You're a villain, Zod.
Oh,
I don't know what's going to come out the loo. I have no idea what's going to come out of the loo. I don't want anything to come out of the loo.
I am
you've seen one video, just pick one.
I am only concerned with what's going into the loo. So that's why I'm not looking. But you're looking.
I'm looking beforehand. I don't need to be looking afterhand. I know what I've done. It's not pretty.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking prior, man. I'm getting on there. I'm doing what I got to do because the loo is a safe place. It's a safe place. No bears underneath. There's no bears.
So apparently, Sexy said it. Well, it wasn't the shed, but it was the septic part under. It's a deep hole under the shed. So yeah, that.
No, like, okay. Does anybody here not understand how an outhouse works? Like, I know how an outhouse works. You got 4 walls, unless you're a stupid fucking youper, and you only got 3 walls and a curtain. And then you have a toilet seat. The toilet seat is over a hole. What's beneath that? Nothing.
Could be anything.
Just a big fucking hole.
Could be anything.
But how the fuck does a bear? You shouldn't be able to fit a bear in there, and the bear be tall enough to reach your fucking ass.
Listen, you son of a bitch. There's no fucking way for me to know what the fuck happened prior to that, dude. A bear got under there for whatever reason. Maybe left the food under there. Who knows?
That's some shitty food.
Well, whatever. A bear will take whatever it can get. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it took that ass.
It doesn't change the fact that a bear bit somebody's ass when they were sitting on the loo.
Which, how can you blame the bear? I 100% blame the person. Like, who the fuck is going to be like, oh, I've opened the door to this room, and there's a bear, but I really got a shit, so I guess we'll just have to risk it.
Nobody's a victim here. Nobody's saying that the person is at fault. At least I'm not saying the person is at fault. And I'm not saying that the bear's at fault. I'm saying a bear's going to do what a bear's going to do, dude. If a bear wants to take a chunk out of your ass, the bear, hey, kudos to that bear for planning how to take a chunk out of somebody's ass. Good job, bear.
That bear should get some kind of accolade for this.
Yeah.
Because this is the most amazing thing I ever heard.
Good for you, bear.
This bear in Alaska should have some kind of day named after it. They should name the bear and give it a day because
Ass chunk day.
Okay, so Glare, let me let you on, and because this reminds me of another amazing story, right? There was a PSA, and I shit you not. there was a PSA that me and PB read. We played the video about a real problem here in America, in particular in Florida, that apparently the meth community was flushing their methamphetamines, and they were, wait for it, creating.
Are you getting to Meth Gator right now?
Yep.
Yes,
Meth Gator.
they were creating.
You're getting to Meth Gator. I've talked about Meth Gator on my channel. And,
Yep.
and I decided that if I was ever going to start a band again, the band name would be Meth Gator.
Meth Gators.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
100%. The name of the band would be Meth Gator. Anybody can join. Anybody can join. I don't care what you play. I don't care what you play. We're forming a band called Meth Gator. That's what's happening.
like this is on that spectacular level, because this is like when I listen to the PSA and there's like, well, I just gotta tell y'all here, there is a serious concern in the community. We have been getting these here meth gators, and I'm gonna have to ask.
No, it's genius. It's genius because the police are just like, well, stop flushing your shit down the toilet because we need to make arrests. That's what they're doing. But that's why it's a great band name. Meth Gator. I'm telling you, Meth Gator. That's the band name. That's it. I don't care. I don't care what kind of music you play. You play the fucking most chillest shit in the world.
It's got to have a pan flute.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it has. I'm starting a band called Meth Gator. You in?
I mean,
can you play a triangle?
I definitely can play the triangle.
You're in.
But only on 3 sides.
You're in.
This has been the most amazing stream, and I can't believe it. For 3 hours, we've had 25 people listening to us. We completely we went off the rails, flipped 3 times, crashed, landed somewhere like 40 feet away from the rails. So
from Bat Nipples to Meth Gator, I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
It feels like it all fits because Meth Gators, bears apparently chomping people's ass on the loo. It's as terrible as this movie is.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, oh my God, Jamie Vick says, how about? Oh my God, I'm sorry. How
about bare ass?
Oh my God! And then Trish says that's going to be next to Sharknado. I feel like we all need to come together and make reviews on these terrible movies. There's so much insight that we can provide. We're doing a valuable service.
We are.
We're warning people about meth gators, bears in toilets.
Right, bears in toilets. And
You're
remember earlier.
I'm celebrating. You're warning people. I'm celebrating. Dude.
Yeah, I'm warning people. Because earlier we were talking about fingers and buttholes, and I said that I didn't want any fingernails close to my colon, and now people are talking about bear claws and buttholes. That's a long fingernail, people.
Well, pop culture, I hate to disagree with you, but I'm saying that there's meth gators out there, and that's cause for celebration. Celebrate the fact that there's meth gators out there. That's amazing. That's fucking amazing.
I've been celebrating meth gators since we talked about it. Since it got turned into a comic book character.
Oh, yeah. Our friend Glare, if you don't know, a good friend of the Fandom Zone, Mr. Black Angus, constructed a comic book idea based on Meth Gator. And he's got a love
Swamp Thing type thing. It's got a Swamp Thing feel to it. I already feel it.
Yeah.
I already feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got like a Swamp Thing inspiration, and but it's with a meth gator, and the meth gator's got a love and a backstory.
Fucking meth and gators, dude. You can't go wrong. Okay? Meth gator, bro. Fucking stoner metal too. Like slow drab, long riffs. Brong, brong. Just disgusting orange cabinet fucking type riffs. You know what I'm talking about? It's amazing, dude. Weed Eater, Sleep. It's good shit. Meth Gator. Meth Gator would be the best band ever.
Oh my god, this is the perfect. Okay, this is the perfect place for us to end because we can't end any like perfect or anybody got anything coming up on their channels they would like to say. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Warning, your outhouse may contain a butt-clawing bear. They don't manicure. Thank you, Bonnie.
And Glare.
Somebody catch a gator on meth, please. Just do it on camera. Just capture some footage of a gator on meth. I'm dying for it. I gotta see this. I'll put music to it. I can. I know I will. I'll do it.
So the Glare says his oh my god, this is the greatest stream ever. So Glare puts it out there for you all. If you catch a meth gator, please send him the footage. He will make a rad ass tune. The band will form. We will have Angry Meth Gator.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
A 30-piece band, dude. I don't care if you play sneakers. Just tap your sneakers the right way. I'll record it.
Sneakers.
It'll be fantastic. It'll be fantastic. Meth Gator. You want to be part of it?
Oh yeah. I'd definitely be a part of Meth Gator. I don't play an instrument, but you know, I'll do some promoting or something. We'll figure it out.
Just make it look like you play an instrument. Like you don't do anything else for real.
Are you any less than the gator who does meth, though?
That's true. That's some deep philosophy right there.
Think about that. Are you any less than the gator who does meth, contributing to Meth Gator? You're in. You're in.
So, good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. And remember, watch your bottoms for bears in your toilet and meth gators. Have a wonderful evening.